Chapter 3261 Zhao Ning'er and many types of species. The right to mate was something to achieve. Male deer wanted to mate. When they fought off their opponents, they would lock horns. They would continue to fight even if their antlers broke. In wolf packs, the strongest wolf king was the first one that was allowed to mate. The strong male wolves that were a little weaker, or the weak male wolves, were not allowed to mate. Now, the nobles in the Qin Kingdom's Jade Wall City were like male deer or wolves. They raised their heads and rubbed their fists, waiting for Zhao Kingdom's #1 singer, Zhao Ning'er, to arrive. Over the past few years, the Qin Kingdom and the Zhao Kingdom had not fought. They seemed fairly peaceful. Zhao Ning'er was now holding a concert in Jade Wall City. Many Jade Wall City officers supported the notion, and people paid a lot of money to see her face in the flesh. They wanted to know if she was as good as the videos showed her to be. Of course, more nobles were hoping to have something else happen with Zhao Ning'er. When Zhao Ning'er had just entered Jade Wall City, it created major traffic jams. Han Sun was not like the others. He was not in the mood to go take care of Zhao Ning'er. He had been spending his time investigating the reversed version of the story of genes. After combining with Ice Jade Evil Lady, their two powers were able to reach break world levels. Unfortunately, their control powers, compatibility levels, and distribution of strength had some inherent gaps. There were bound to be problems further down the line. This was just a problem that arose from a lack of experience. After combining for a while, their issues would most likely sort themselves out. There was no need to worry about these issues too much. Han Sun practiced for Geno arts. Only the story of genes had not yet reached break world status. That was the primary subject of Han Sun's recent investigations. He was hoping it would not take long before he found a way to have the story of genes break the world too. He needed the power to guarantee his safety. Han Sun was currently not Qin Xiu's foe, but he also could not defeat Qin Wan'er. He had to improve his strength. The Super God Spirit mode was a type of body. There was no skill associated with it. There was no method of running its air. Although Han Sun knew there was a reverse Super God Spirit mode out there, he could not use reverse Super God Spirit mode. The only way for him to level up was to practice the 4 Geno arts he had, or get better Geno arts altogether. Since rare gene races were hard to obtain, Han Sun had gone to a lot of trouble to get his hands on the Ice Jade Evil Lady. At the end of the day, it was pretty much useless for him to have. That path for him to traverse was no good. It was worse than when he used to reinforce his body. When Han Sun combined with the Ice Jade Evil Lady, he repeatedly tried to analyze her power. He was hoping to break the world without combining with the Ice Jade Evil Lady, so he would not be restricted. Han Sun was most depressed about the fact that reverse Jade Skin powers were weird. He had examined the power structure, but he was unable to simulate it. It seemed as if only the body of a woman could attain that power. With that being the case, Han Sun focused his mind on researching the story of Gene. His research of the story of Gene had been going on for a long time now. A scary power surged through Han Sun's body. His cells were like nuclear bombs quickly detonating. It made Han Sun spill blood. He had to stop the story of Gene reverse power. Just the story of Gene's forever solid power was different. Reversing the story of Gene powers was too cruel. Han Sun had only just tried reversing the story of Gene when he felt his gene chain break, and cells explode like the end of the world. It was just that little amount of power that made Han Sun tremble in fear. That power was too scary. Even with Han Sun's powerful body, he could not block the power of the story of Gene. That big, destructive power was not just in my body, Han Sun said with a frown. Even my Super God Spirit mode would be unable to block it. It is a Geno art that cannot be practiced. The power of the story of Gene was too cruel. It could not be practiced. His body was not capable of harnessing it. He could not even try it, so how could he succeed? This harkened Han Sun back to the time he first tried to practice the story of Gene. He was unable to begin it back then, as the story of Gene required absurd amounts of fitness. It was too high, so he could not get it started. Han Sun needed the black crystal armor to get it going now. The story of Gene had the same issue, but Han Sun did not have the black crystal armor anymore. People have to rely on themselves. Han Sun took a deep breath. He used power to heal the damage he had just been inflicted. He then used the reverse version of the story of Gene. Hansen was not thinking about whether or not he could survive it. All he wanted to do was find a rhythm within that scary power. The reverse the story of Gene only ran for a moment when Hansen's body suddenly cracked. His entire body looked like a ceramic vase that had been cracked and crudely glued together again. He was full of cracks, and they started to bleed. He immediately stopped running the reverse version of the story of Gene. That short moment was almost enough to destroy his body. He didn't reverse it completely, so he was not about to continue running it. Hansen could only fix his body and think about that destructive power. He hoped to learn something soon. It was a shame it only went on for a moment, and his body was destroyed. Hansen could not glean much from the experience. Hansen kept enabling himself to be tortured by the scary power without giving up. The reverse version of the story of Gene damaged his body a lot, which proved just how strong the reverse version of the story of Gene was. Perhaps after the story of Gene broke the world, the power would be so scary that one could not even imagine it. In a bright castle in Jade Wall City, many rich people were seated. There were many of the Qin Kingdom's nobles and famous people. The party's focus was not on them. It was on a 20-year-old young lady who looked pure. She was a woman who emitted freshness. Sky King, who had been summoned back to Jade Wall City, was attending this party. He was drinking and listening to Zhao Ning'er songs. When it comes to prettiness, Zhao Ning'er might not be the hottest across all the 7 kingdoms, but the pure youthfulness of her young body can make us and our old bodies very jealous, Sky King quietly said, with his eyes looking like they were on fire. I want to take her youth and become her age so I can do whatever I want. The man next to Sky King laughed. If it was not for that, why would Zhao Ning'er be adored by all 7 kingdoms? It isn't just us. Even those old antiques love Zhao Ning'er. Well, they at least love how refreshing she is. Through her, they want to see their past selves. Jade Wall City has only just experienced big bad luck, Sky King said. For her to come to Jade Wall City now will surely make others think of something. Yes, Jade Wall City has endured bad luck recently, but it is still stronger than the Zhao Kingdom. If she tries something, I am fairly certain we can deal with it. While they were talking, Zhao Ning'er finished her song. Everyone in the hall started to clap. Zhao Ning'er bowed. She looked at everyone and asked, while I was in the Zhao Kingdom, I heard about the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman. Han Senator, is Mr. Han here today? Chapter 3262 Meeting in Red Sleeve Building. The reverse the story of Gene kept destroying Han Sen's body. He could no longer endure it. After resting for a while, he went to the garden to chill. Bauer and Feng Yin were playing chess in the garden. Hansen watched the two of them play. Because of Hansen, Bauer was very good at playing chess and various card games. By comparison, Feng Yin was very bad. Every match ended poorly for her. Feng Yin did not care much about whether or not she won or lost. She did not mind losing over and over, which was an attitude Bauer found to be boring. Playing chess with little Yin is boring. Bauer won another round. She yawned and asked, "Why don't you play with me, Daddy?" Hansen was going to agree to a match, but Feng Fei and Bald Guy came strolling into the garden. "Old Han, my dear Mr. Han, you are a bad man this time." Bald Guy looked friendly as he tried to get closer to Han Sr. "Why have I been bad this time?" Hansen asked with confusion. Bald Guy laughed. "Did you not know that today is the day the Zhao Kingdom's #1 singer, Zhao Ning'er, is having her welcome party? She mentioned you, the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman. Does she want to challenge me?" Hansen calmly picked up his cup and took a sip of tea. Hansen had already received information from Rocky D that Zhao Ning'er was Qin Xiu's 19th life soul owner. The reason she came to the Qin Kingdom was for the sole purpose of killing Han Senator thus. Hansen was not surprised by this. Bald Guy looked weird and smiled. "No, but Zhao Ning'er said she greatly admires you. She wants to marry you and be a nice wife who teaches children. If you want to, she will be waiting for you at the Red Sleeve Building. She wants to spend the night with you, the Qin Kingdom's big swordsman. Now the whole of Jade Wall City's nobles and old antiques are jealous of you." Blurg. Hansen almost coughed all of his tea out. He looked at Bald Guy and asked, "Are you joking? Ask Miss Feng if you do not believe me." Bald Guy looked as if he had been wronged. Hansen looked at Feng Fei. She nodded and said, although bald guy is being a bit ridiculous, Zhao Ning'er did say something like that. I do not know if she really likes you, or if she has an ulterior motive or what. It is just like bald guy said. The men in Jade Wall City are going nuts. They know Zhao Ning'er has a problem, but they still want to kill you. You should be careful. Hansen laughed and said, it is fine. The nobles never liked me anyway. They've always wanted to kill me and feed me to the dogs. It does not matter to me. It is not as if they can do anything to me. Old Han Zhao Ning'er is in Red Sleeve Building. Are you going? She is Zhao Kingdom's #1 singer. Bald guy had a look of jealousy as he said, if it was me, I would do whatever it took to get to Red Sleeve Building and see her. Of course I am going. Hansen said with a curl of his lips. If I do not go, I will be made a scapegoat for no reason. Yes. Zhao Ning'er is so passionate. If you did not go, you would be an animal. Bald guy patted Hansen on the shoulder and prepared to depart. Bauer on the side took out a notepad and jotted something down. Hansen wanted to go to Red Sleeve Building because he wanted to see Zhao Ning'er, who was the 19th test subject. If Qin Xiu let her go there, Zhao Ning'er must have had something special up her sleeve. He would not just send her there to die. Instead of waiting for Zhao Ning'er to come to him, he might as well strike first while he had the chance. He did not want to bring any further harm to the Feng Castle either. Old Han, do you want to go together? Bald guy happily looked at Han Sr. They will probably forbid you from entering, so you will only look embarrassing, Hansen said with a laugh. Oh, you are right, Bald guy said with a look of jealousy. Zhao Ning'er only invited you. Hansen ignored him. He looked at Feng Fei and asked, where is Red Sleeve Building? Feng Fei looked at Hansen with shock. Are you really going? To be invited there by a pretty woman, why would I not? Hansen asked with a laugh. Are all the pretty women outside the castle and not within? Feng Fei felt jealous, but she still told Hansen the location of the Red Sleeve Building. Bauer continued to clutch her pen, scribbling something down in the notebook. It was now 10 o'clock. Hansen said goodbye to Feng Yining and went to the Red Sleeve Building. After a short walk, he saw a person coming. The person sought to bar Hansen's way. Mr. Han, where are you going? The person asked with a bow. If people were seemingly nice to you, it was rude to be mean to them. That person was nice, so Hansen should not have been mean. Therefore he politely said Red Sleeve Building. The man's face changed. He got closer to Hansen and whispered, Teacher Han, are you going to see Zhao Ning? If you are willing to take me to the Red Sleeve Building to see Zhao Ning'er, I will reward you. What kind of reward? Hansen looked at the man with interest. He was 40 years old. He looked like a scholar. He looked fairly decent, but Hansen did not recall seeing him before. The man moved closer to Hansen and whispered, My name is Zhang Huan. I would not think you have heard this name before, but the Zhang family is quite famous in the Qin Kingdom. We trade in gene eggs and gene races. Treasure Garden is our family's business. If you were willing to take me to the Red Sleeve Building, any gene egg and gene race in Treasure Garden can be selected by you for free. You can pick one. Do not give me this lame kind of stuff. Give me something real. Hansen did not really like Zhang Huan's offer. Usually, high-class gene eggs and gene races could not be found on the market. Even if they were, Zhang Huan would have probably hidden all of the high-class gene eggs and gene races. Treasure Garden was something Hansen had heard of before. It was an old shop in Jade Wall City. It was one of the biggest gene egg and gene race shops around. The others were similar, but the other ones sold more gene races. Treasure Garden sold more gene eggs. His plan had been exposed. Zhang Huan did not mind. He whispered, Our shop has a dozen God-class gene eggs. If you are willing to, you can go and pick one or two. One rare gene egg. If you have it, then go and grab it. If not, don't waste my time. I need to go and meet Zhao Ning'er. Hansen slapped a ridiculous price on the offer. He wanted the man to leave and stop wasting his time. Teacher Han, you are too greedy. Zhang Huan was frozen. A rare gene egg for one date was too much. People are greedy, Hansen said with a smile. I am just greedier than others. No matter how good a gene egg might be, it is just an item. An item swapped for a chance to date her is something I would suspect to be pretty fair. Chapter 3263 Ultimate Egg. Zhang Huan did not think that was a very fair price. He thought, "You take me for a fool. Is that what you call a fair price?" Zhang Huan did not dare say that out loud in front of Han Senator. He developed a wry smile and said, "Mr. Han, you have overestimated me. The Zhang family runs a gene egg shop, but rare gene eggs are very uncommon to see. Our ancestors did once have one, and that was the greatest of glories. Ever since I was born, however, I have been unable to see a single rare gene egg." Zhang Huan gnashed his teeth and suggested, "How about this? In Treasure Garden, there are God-class gene eggs. You can select 5 of them. That is all I will be able to afford you. What do you think?" "Rare singers require rare gene eggs," Han Sen said with a laugh. "Miss Zhao is worth that price, don't you think?" Han Sen was not crazy. He wanted to use a rare gene race to swap for a date with Zhao Ning'er, but now, many nobles were watching them. If Han Sen took the inferior deal, many people would come to stop him and annoy him with their own offers. Zhang Huan looked disappointed. He looked ill as he said, "Teacher Han, if you keep suggesting prices like that, no one will be able to pay you." Han Sen did not say anything in response. He suddenly heard another voice. "He is right. Rare singers require rare gene eggs. Teacher Han, I have one rare gene egg. I will give it to you if it means spending a night with Miss Zhao in Red Sleeve Building. Would you like to conduct this trade?" Zhang Huan froze. He turned his head. He did not believe someone would do such a trade, swapping a rare gene egg for seeing Zhao Ning'er. After all, they would not be meeting her one-on-one. They would only be accompanying Han Senator. When Zhang Huan saw that man's face, his expression changed. He lowered his head and left like a mouse seeing a fierce cat. Han Sen looked at that person but did not recognize who it was. It was an old man with white hair, wearing a flowery robe. His eyelids were heavy. When he opened his eyes, there were big gaps. It looked as if he was not awake. Han Sen looked at the old man and said, "If you are truly going to offer me this, then I will take you up on the offer." The old man's body was crooked. He reached into his sleeves for a while. He eventually brought out a gene egg and put it down in front of Han Sr. "Okay. This is the gene egg, take it if you dare use it." Han Sen looked into the old man's hand. The gene egg was the size of a quail egg. It looked like a crystal. It was half white and half black. It was a natural Tai Chi symbol. Many strange carvings were on the gene egg's shell. If it was put under a microscope, the words would still be too small to read. There were dozens of thousands of words on the quail egg-sized gene egg's shell. The text was weird. It did not look to be written in the common tongue of the universe of kingdoms, so Han Sen did not know what it meant. It was obviously something written by hand. It could not have been something the egg was born with. "Old man, is this gene egg dead?" Han Sen wondered aloud. There were so many words carved into it. He wondered whether or not the gene egg could still produce a gene race. Plus, Han Sen could not detect a life force within the gene egg. He did not know if it could really be a rare gene egg or not. The old man rolled his eyes. How ignorant. This gene egg shocks the universe. This is the unique ultimate egg, but that is okay. I can show you my knowledge in case you later embarrass people out there. The old man held the rare gene egg. With a cocky look he said, "When the universe first began and before the god spirits were born, there was an old man. That person was the Wu Wei Dao Alpha." "Old man, I am not interested in hearing stories." Han Sen stopped the old man from proceeding. Han Sen had heard this story before. When Han Sen first came to the universe of kingdoms, he learned about the history of Wu Wei Dao Palace. The Wu Wei Dao Palace's first leader was the Wu Wei Dao Alpha. Wu Wei Dao Palace students treated him like God. They obeyed him more than God spirits. One of Wu Wei Dao Alpha's most famous sayings was, "Before God was born, I was already here." That meant the Wu Wei Dao Alpha was born before God spirits. He was greater than God spirits. Of course, Han Sen had researched this quite a bit. The history of Wu Wei Dao Palace was far-reaching. Before humans, they were already so famous. Compared to God spirits being born, there was still a distance between them. A person who had been praised like so had to be so strong. And he made the universe's biggest legion, Wu Wei Dao Palace. Still, the claims were a bit over the top. The old man looked annoyed that Han Sen had interrupted him. He stared at Han Sen and said, "Young people are so impatient. They always cut things short." When the Wu Wei Dao Alpha was born, he was holding this gene egg. After he was born, until he broke space and left, this gene egg never left his hands. Everyone knows that in this universe. This is not a made-up fairy tale. You are not going to say the one in your hand is the gene egg Wu Wei Dao Alpha had, are you? Han Sen did not believe it. It was not as if Wu Wei Dao Alpha was actually holding a gene egg when he was born. Even if he was, Wu Wei Dao Palace would probably be holding on to such a treasure. Why would they let an old man like that carry it around? Stupid people cannot be taught a thing. Yes, this is the Wu Wei Dao Alpha's gene egg. Its name is Ultimate Egg. Everyone knows that Ultimate Egg is a rare gene egg. I will use this gene egg to trade for permission to join you. Is that okay? The old man offered the gene egg to Han Sr. How am I supposed to know if this is the real gene egg Wu Wei Dao Alpha had? Han Sen asked without much care. To be honest, even if that world had such a gene egg, Han Sen did not think it would have fallen into the hands of an old man like that. This gene egg is real. If you do not believe me, ask that guy from the Zhang family, the old man said while reaching his hand out. Zhang Huan, who had almost taken a turn and left, was grabbed by an invisible hand and pulled back. He was brought in front of the old man. Zhang family child, tell this Mr. Han if my ultimate egg is real or not. The old man said while looking at Zhang Huan. Yes, Zhang Huan quickly said. It is more real than gold. It is certainly the real deal. The old man looked at Zhang Huan and said, fine words. Zhang Huan looked bitter and said, Teacher Han, I can use the Zhang family as a promise. In this old man's hands, the ultimate egg gene egg is real and there. The people of this universe know the gene egg is the one from Wu Wei Dao Palace way back when. Chapter 3264 Bad Egg. What do you mean? Han Sen looked at Zhang Huan with interest. Zhang Huan looked at the old man and carefully said, back in the day, when the Wu Wei Dao Alpha broke space, the leader gave the ultimate egg to one of his students. That Wu Wei Dao Palace student could not hatch it, so he decided on passing it down generation by generation. It is unknown how many generations there have been since, but no one has been able to hatch it. Eventually, a Wu Wei Dao Palace student was murdered by a supreme elite who took the egg for themselves and carried it around. The ultimate egg was robbed of its proper owner. Then this old man came into possession of it. Does that mean this white old man killed a student of Wu Wei Dao Palace? Han Sen looked at the old man as he spoke. With a cocky look, the old man said, it wasn't me. It was an ancestor of mine. Everyone knows that. There is only one ultimate egg. There are no fake ones like it. Do you want it or not? Han Sen looked at the old man. He then looked at Zhang Huan. He knew that even if the ultimate egg were real, something bad must have lurked inside it. It was not about something that couldn't be hatched. Having that mysterious gene egg in front of him made Han Sen interested. After hearing what they had to say, he said, if you are willing to give it to me, I will take it. The old man said, great. If things are like that, then you can keep it. He then tossed the ultimate egg to Han Senator, seeing his talent for doing that. It was like he was lobbing an entire mountain. Han Sen tried to catch it, but he noticed the ultimate egg was actually really light. It was like an ordinary quail egg, which surprised him quite a bit. The old man looked at Han Sen and said, I have now given you the ultimate egg. The deal we have struck is that you take me to the Red Sleeve building so that I might meet Zhao Ning'er. One thing I must tell you, however, is that the ultimate egg has swapped hands with quite a few owners in the past. Aside from Wu Wei Dao Palace inheritors, basically, everyone who has come into possession of the ultimate egg has ended up dead. If you are afraid of this item, you can still hand the ultimate egg back. If the ultimate egg is that unlucky, how has your family been okay all this time? Han Sen asked while playing with the ultimate egg. He really wasn't concerned about what the old man had said. The old man laughed. Our family is not like ordinary people. The ultimate egg is fine in our family. If this was in the hands of someone else, no matter how strong they are, they will still suffer bad luck. I already paid for this. It does not matter if you want it or not, but you will take me to the Red Sleeve building. Of course we are on our way there now, Hansen said. He walked forward. He was not going to return the ultimate egg to the old man. He had seen many things that were the result of bad luck. It did not matter to him if something else came about as a result of bad luck. Plus, Hansen was curious about the identity of the Wu Wei Dao Alpha. That guy was more legendary than Qin Xiu in the universe of kingdoms. People knew Qin Xiu was the king of the Qin kingdom, but they did not know about the scary things Qin Xiu had managed to accomplish. The things the Wu Wei Dao Alpha did were things the Seven Kingdoms fully knew about. Even though the Qin kingdom exiled the Wu Wei Dao Palace, people still knew about the history of the Wu Wei Dao Alpha. Although the saying, "Before God was here, I was here," was a little over the top, one could still imagine so many kingdoms fighting until now while the Wu Wei Dao Alpha turned the Wu Wei Dao Palace into a big religion. It was not just one simple thing. The old man laughed. He did not say anything as he followed Hansen to the Red Sleeve building. It was strange. Ever since the old man started following him, no one showed up to stop Hansen's way. Hansen had no idea that after he collected the ultimate egg, Jade Wall City erupted into chaos. Hansen, that kid, got his hands on the ultimate egg. How dare he? Sky King looked at this with interest. What? Teacher Han took White No Life's ultimate egg? Thousand Mile Reach's face changed upon hearing this news. He stood up from his chair. In the palace, Qin Jingzhen looked weird when he heard this news. He sighed. I am afraid, in this world, only Teacher Han would be so bold to take that ultimate egg. My king, I think Teacher Han might not know the history of the ultimate egg. Should I inform him? Jia Shizhen seemed to understand Han's senator. She knew he must not have known much about the Wu Wei Dao Palace. Qin Jingzhen was shocked. No way. The ultimate egg is so famous. How would Teacher Han not know about it? Jia Shizhen with a wry smile said, Mr. Teacher Han is an outsider elite. Per my knowledge of him, he never did seem to know much about this place. Perhaps he really does not know anything about the ultimate egg. If things truly are like that, you should go and inform Teacher Han, Qin Jingzhen quickly said. We cannot allow anything to happen to him. Jia Shizhen agreed and took her to leave. She planned on stopping him before he went to the Red Sleeve building. When the nobles and officers, who thought Hansen was the evilest person in the Qin kingdom, heard that he took the ultimate egg, they were delighted. Very good, Han Senator, he took the ultimate egg. If he has a death wish that comes true, he cannot take it out on us. Aside from the White family, I do not think a sky full of god spirits would dare take this egg. Does Hansen truly believe he is invincible? I do not think he knows how scary the ultimate egg is. That is why he probably took it. This is because he is ignorant. He deserves to die. Aside from the freaks of the White family, I do not think anyone can endure the bad luck brought on by the ultimate egg. If Hansen knew about this sooner, he might have been enabled to live. Hansen knew the ultimate egg was nothing ordinary, but he did not care for the tales. He kept walking, playing with the ultimate egg. He felt the ultimate egg contained some sort of hidden power. Hansen put power into the ultimate egg to explore what was inside. He noticed that the egg was endless. No matter how much power he put inside, it seemed to get lost. Not even Hansen could figure out what was inside it. Hansen thought, this ultimate egg is so weird. It does not seem like a fake item. Teacher Han, might I speak with you? Jia Shizhen appeared down the street. She bowed to Han. Senator Hansen saw Jia Shizhen and nodded. The two of them retreated into an alley. Jia Shizhen spoke first. Teacher Han, do you know about the ultimate egg? I only know it is a gene egg from Wu Wei Dao Alpha, Hansen said. It was just as Jia Shizhen thought. She quickly said, Teacher Han, you should think about returning the ultimate egg to the old man immediately. This egg is so weird. Aside from the White family, if other people take the ultimate egg, they will suffer terrible luck. Not only a sky full of god spirits. Chapter 3265 Red Sleeve Building. Is the ultimate egg that evil? Hansen asked with shock. Jia Shizhen quietly explained. The Wu Wei Dao Alpha was a legendary figure. Legends claim that when he was born, a sky full of stars fell with a weird scene. Although he was a human, his talent was like those of a rare gene race. His body possessed an ultimate sort of power like a scary character of some wild era. Legends claim the ultimate egg was an egg born alongside him, and that it wields magical powers. For some reason, it has never sought to hatch. Up until the time the Alpha broke space, the ultimate egg had yet to hatch. So the Alpha handed it down to a student who would guard it. The ultimate egg kept being passed down through inheritance, all down the line of Wu Wei Dao Palace. Therefore, in this world, no matter if it was someone from the Wu Wei Dao Palace or an elite of the Seven Kingdoms, they have all wanted the ultimate egg. When some people ended up having it, a lot of misfortune befell them. Even their heirs were never safe from harm. They had to beg Wu Wei Dao Palace to take the egg back. Up until the Qin Kingdom's battle god White killed a student that protected the ultimate egg in a fight, none have ever lived to survive handing it over. Ever since the ultimate egg has been in the White family's hands. Aside from the White family's bloodline, whoever received the ultimate egg would be the recipient of a lot of bad luck. Even the White family still suffered quite a bit of bad luck. Most members of the White family have been unable to live past the age of 40. They also seem to age faster. This has happened to a dozen members of the White family, and they only had one child each. No matter how many wives and children there were, only one son is permitted to live. You are not going to tell me that horny old man is only 40 years old, are you? Hansen looked at the old man. The old man is likely 39 years old, Jia Shizhen said with a wry smile. He does not have a wife yet. The legends claim that at the age of 15 years old, he would never marry and produce babies. He wants the White family to end its run with the ultimate egg. Because of that, the old man has lived very casually. He always does things ordinary people could never imagine doing. I cannot believe the old man would use the ultimate egg as payment for a date. And you were the one who actually dared to accept the ultimate egg. I see. Thank you for telling me all this, Teacher Jia. Hansen now knew all about the ultimate egg. Hansen thought the old man had some sort of ulterior motive, but now he knew he was just an obscene person who dined on free meals. Teacher Han, you are too polite. The king is merely worried about your well-being. Please take care of yourself. Jia Shizhen bowed and took her leave. Hansen went back out to the street. The old man smiled and looked at him. The Jia family's girl told you all about the ultimate egg, didn't she? Do you still want it? Whatever slips into Hansen's pocket never leaves it quite so easily, Hansen coldly said. He then went to the Red Sleeve building. The old man looked strange. He watched Hansen for a bit before following him. Hansen knows the power of the ultimate egg, yet he has not returned it to the old man. Qin Jingzhen heard Jia Shizhen's report, and was surprised. Yes, my king. Jia Shizhen looked strange too. Hansen did not know the dangers of the ultimate egg. Now that he knew the ultimate egg could not be hatched, what was the point of holding on to the rare gene egg? Only bad things came with it, never anything good. Even Wu Wei Dao Palace did not want to take the ultimate egg back. Did he not see how powerful the ultimate egg was? Given the legacy of the Alpha, even if he had just left behind a sheet of paper, they would have done anything they could to get their hands on it. Wu Wei Dao Palace would not just leave it out for others, especially not the egg. 56 inches Jade Wall City. Many nobles waited for bad luck to befall Han's senator. The ultimate egg had been inherited for a very long time. Aside from the White family, no one came into its possession without dying. It could take 2 to 3 days, 10 days, or half a month. Either way, something bad was going to happen. Hansen played with the ultimate egg. He did not feel anything sinister about it, but he did not dare be reckless. He continued to hold on to the ultimate egg, watching it intently. Hansen and the old men soon came before the Red Sleeve building, where a bodyguard promptly stopped them. Mr. Han, my lady only wants to meet with you alone. A guard politely said to Han Sr. Go and tell Miss Zhao I took benefits from him, so I must bring this old man into the Red Sleeve building, Hansen calmly said. If she does not permit him inside, I will go home. While the guard hesitated, a maid-like young woman came strolling outside. She said to Hansen and the old man, My lady wants to let Hansen and the old man into the Red Sleeve building. The old man said, That's right. I am here to see Miss Zhao. This is a great honor of the Zhao family to be visited by me. He hurried upstairs. Hansen could tell he was only around 40 years old. Since he had the dubious title of old man, there was nothing he would really have to look out for. The man was dying, so nothing mattered to him. They went to the second floor of the Red Sleeve building. Hansen looked in the window and saw a lady in white clothing. The window had moonlight coming through it, which was illuminating her body. He saw a woman's figure through the screen. She looked as if she was clutching an instrument. The silhouette alone was very pretty. A beautiful voice came from behind the screen. I did not expect two misters to visit me so late. I do not even have my makeup on. I will not dare to ruin the eyes of you both. Please forgive me for this. I, the old man, have spent a fortune to be here tonight, the old man said. I did not spend it all just to hear a voice come from behind a screen. He lacked politeness, especially since he had gone the extra mile to palm the screen. He wanted to break it down and see Zhao Ning'er's face. Ding! Behind the screen, the sound of a plucked harp was heard. The old man's palm strike was cancelled by that acoustic power. Before he reached the screen, his power was gone. A sonic attack will not block me. The old man squinted his eyes. He was ready to strike. Of course, a sonic attack will not stop you, old man. Back in the day, the Qin Kingdom's battle god White Rise beat the Seven Kingdoms. He killed many in the Zhao Kingdom's 4 systems. The sky and the ground changed color. Rivers became blood rivers. The 4 systems turned red. It looked like a blood sea. How cruel was that? You are the son of the battle god. Of course, I cannot stop someone like you. Zhao Ning'er sounded calm. If you know how powerful I am, hurry up and take down that screen. Like Grandpa White, see how pretty you look. How can your pretty face turn the 7 kingdoms upside down? The old man looked cocky as he spoke. Chapter 3266. Flipping a hand to suppress. Zhao Ning'er was not in a rush. She was not freaking out either. She calmly said, so this old man wants to see my natural face. Of course I will allow that. But you are such a famous person. So are you really going to trouble a little girl? The old man laughed. Throughout my whole life, all I have ever enjoyed is making little girls squirm through trouble. Stop talking crap. Let me see what you really look like. If the old man must see me, then I will comply, Zhao Ning'er coldly said. If I do not want to reveal myself, even a god's face would show displeasure. I am just an ordinary girl. I am afraid it will affect the old man's perception and thoughts of me. My image will be ruined. When the old man heard that, he was shocked. He was only there to see and spend time with a beautiful woman. If he could not see the prettiest face from Zhao Ning'er, it would have been a shame. In that case, what would make you want to see me, an old man? The old man asked with hesitation. It is simple, Zhao Ning'er said. I, a simple little girl, will ask a question. If you, old man, can answer it, then I will come out to meet you. I will also sing a song as an apology. The old man curled his lips. If you were to ask me, an old man, what you want to eat or what you want to drink, how could I possibly know? The question I ask will not be something private that no one else would possibly be able to know, Zhao Ning'er said. I will not ask anything that is minor. It will be reasonable and harbor logic. Fine. If there is something you do not understand, feel free to ask me. I can answer your issues. The old man looked very cocky. He displayed an expression that looked like he could understand everything. Might I ask, out of the 7 kingdoms, which mountain is the tallest? Zhao Ning'er asked after a pause. The old man laughed and said, you cannot test me with that question. In the 7 kingdoms, the highest mountain is the Qin Kingdom's Sky Mountain. Even the sky looks at the mountain there. With its height, none of the other mountains found on other planets in the Qin Kingdom can compare. Zhao Ning'er smiled. Sky Mountain is on Rock Planet, and Rock Planet's orbit is the same as Sky Crane Planet. Sky Mountain's peak faces Sky Crane Planet. Does that mean Sky Crane Planet's random mountains are taller than Sky Mountain? The old man was shocked. He suddenly looked very angry and said, you are just trying to play word games with me. Going by what you said, the 7 kingdoms would not have the highest mountain. Every mountain is taller when it is higher. Please do not be mad, old man. Zhao Ning'er honestly said. I know there is a mountain that wherever it is viewed from, it is the tallest of them all. Is such a thing possible? The old man madly asked. I do not believe it. What kind of place could have such a mountain? You better tell me. It is fine if there is, but if there isn't, then that means you are playing me. If you are, I will punish you and force you to sing and drink with me. Old man, do you really require some answers? Zhao Ning'er quietly asked. Of course I would like them, the old man directly said. In that case listen up, Zhao Ning'er seriously said. In the 7 kingdoms, the tallest mountain is called Sky Mountain. The old man was shocked. Earlier I said Sky Mountain, then you said it wasn't. Now you are saying Sky Mountain is the tallest mountain. What is that supposed to mean? The reasons for that are simple, Zhao Ning'er said with a smile. That is because Sky Mountain's height is the highest of all mountains. That makes it the tallest mountain. Don't you think so, old man? The old man was furious. Sure, but how dare you trick me, an old man? So what if I tricked you? Zhao Ning'er's voice was cold. It looks like you are a little kid who does not go out much. You have no idea how strong I am. The old man was so angry that his body glowed with a god light. He threw a slap toward the screen. The screen was blown away with the presence of a scary power. It headed for Zhao Ning'er. Zhao Ning'er was sitting close to the window. She was holding a harp. She did not look as if she was going to block a thing. Suddenly, she waved her sleeve. The old man was sucked into her sleeve. He became smaller and smaller until he landed on Zhao Ning'er's hand. Zhao Ning'er made the old man small enough to fit into the palm of someone's hand. She put him down next to her instrument. It did not seem difficult. Han Sen was shocked. The old man had been turned into a miniature man. Han Sen frowned. The old man was not a weak person. Han Sen sensed that his gene races were very strong, yet a person like that was instantly suppressed by Zhao Ning'er with one of her hands. She was able to turn him into a miniature man. It was shocking. Mr. Han, no one will be able to disturb our alone time now. I have admired you for a long time. I will drink this in your honor. Zhao Ning'er stood up. She held a teapot before Han Sen and poured out a cup of the stuff. She put her hand in front of Han Sen and flashed her eyes in a way that reeked of flirtation. If Han Sen had not known she was here to kill him, he would have firmly believed she was in love with him. Zhao Ning'er was beautiful, but her face was not as pretty as someone like Gu Qingcheng. She made the entire kingdom go crazy. Zhao Ning'er had a youthful feeling that made people feel as if they were back in the throes of first love. First love was never the nicest, but it was always the one a person remembered. Han Sen was the sort of person who had seen many pretty women. He had to admit that Zhao Ning'er was the type of girl who touched someone's heart with ease. Women like that were more tempting than women who were only just pretty, and that was it. Women like that could tempt people to commit crimes more than women who were only pretty, and that was it. I am going to drink from this cup. Han Sen accepted the cup and brought it up to his lips. He wanted to see what Qin Xiu's test subject had and what was so special about her. Mr. Han, do you not wonder why I admire you? Zhao Ning'er asked with a blink of her eyes. Why? Han Sen asked with a smile. Do you really want to know why? Zhao Ning'er looked very flirtatious. She looked shy. It was as if she did not dare look at Han Sr. I really want to know. When Han Sen looked at Zhao Ning'er's face, his heart jumped. It is because I really want to kill you. Zhao Ning'er's face went cold as she waved her sleeve at Han. Senator Han Sen suddenly felt a strange power penetrate his body. He lost control and ended up flying toward Zhao Ning'er's sleeves. His body was shrunk. He turned into a miniature man that could fit into the palm of someone's hand. Zhao Ning'er then held him. The Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman is just a horny and filthy man, Zhao Ning'er said with a grunt. She put the miniaturized Han Sen down on the table. Chapter 3267 Mudman Han Sen and the old man, in their mudman shape, were on the table. They looked like two inanimate objects. One would never have thought that they were two grand elites who were once very scary and famous. After doing that, Zhao Ning'er took out a mirror. The mirror displayed Berry Path God's image. Zhao Ning'er looked into the mirror and spoke to Berry Path God. Berry Path God, according to the deal we struck, Han Sen has already been captured. Where is the gene egg you promised me? Berry Path God looked at the mudman on the table and coldly said, It is no wonder why you will become the singing queen. You are becoming more and more powerful. You did not just capture Han's senator, even the freak of the White family was captured too. Well done. After pausing, Berry Path God said, bring them to the 33 skies. You will then be given the gene egg as your reward. Berry Path God, do you think I, Zhao Ning'er, am a mere 3-year-old child? Zhao Ning'er laughed coldly. I will bring them to the Zhao kingdom. I will use the old man as a sacrifice for the soul of the Zhao kingdom. If you want Han's son, bring the gene egg to the Zhao kingdom. After that, Zhao Ning'er put the mirror down on the table. The image of the man on the other end disappeared. The old man and Han's son went to the Red Sleeve building and did not come back. That became a point of focus for a lot of people in Jade Wall City. They guessed what might have happened behind the closed doors of the Red Sleeve building. When Zhao Ning'er finished her tour and left Jade Wall City, Han's son and the old man had yet to show up again. If Zhao Ning'er was able to hurt Han's son and the old man, it would have been the basis of a tale no one could have reasonably believed. Not even mentioning the White family's freak, the old man, but Zhao Ning'er could certainly not deal with the horrendous power someone like Han Sen wielded. Han Sen's reputation in the Qin kingdom was quite awful, but no one was willing to deny that Han's son was powerful. Of course, many of the Qin kingdom's people wanted Han's son to vanish. They wanted him to die and never come back again. When Zhao Ning'er left the Qin kingdom, Royal Guard stopped her ship from leaving. After a lengthy search, they were unable to find a trace of Han's son or the old man from the White family. A teacher of the Qin kingdom and a famous noble of the Qin kingdom had vanished without a trace. Zhao Ning'er, who was the most suspicious suspect, could not get away from the Qin kingdom so easily. It was a shame that Han's son and the old man were not very well liked in the Qin kingdom. Someone in the Qin kingdom enabled Zhao Ning'er to leave the Qin kingdom. By the time Qin Jingzhen noticed she was gone, it was too late to stop her. Qin Jingzhen knew this was not just about Han's senator, it was also about him. He was a dying king, so being mad would not fix anything. He had to send his trusted men after Zhao Ning'er. Despite that effort, they could not catch up to her. Although Zhao Ning'er was not a royal of the Zhao kingdom, she was still a famous person from there. There was even a planet named after Zhao Ning'er. Her home was situated on that planet. Half of that planet belonged to Zhao Ning'er. She had a castle that was situated on an island in the center of an ocean. Without Zhao Ning'er's explicit permission, no one else was allowed to set foot on that island. Only a few maids were able to go there to perform some cleaning tasks. Even that was rarely done. In a pavilion on that island, 2 mudmen looked very alive. One of them was shaking like mad. Suddenly, there was a pang sound. One of the mudmen turned into a person. It looks like a test subject like Zhao Ning'er is not controlled by Qin Xiu completely. She just made a deal with the God Chaos Party. Han Sen already knew Zhao Ning'er was a bit strange, so he deliberately allowed himself to be tricked and captured by her. He wanted to learn a few secrets. Han Sen was ultimately disappointed. Zhao Ning'er did not know much in the way of deep secrets. She was just a test subject for the God Chaos Party. She was not even a member of the God Chaos Party. Han Sen pulled an item out of his pocket. It was the ultimate egg that belonged to the old man. Han Sen wanted to wait a bit longer to see what the God Chaos Party would do to Zhao Ning'er, but that ultimate egg brought trouble. Han Sen had to break Zhao Ning'er's power and become his true self again. The ultimate egg's Tai Chi symbol started to move. A weird power was forming in Han Sen's chest. It came out from the ultimate egg and entered his body. That power was very weird. Even with Han Sen's strength, he could not stop that power from developing. That power also seemed a bit familiar. It was quite similar to the weird power Han Sen endured against on the planet that contained the Ice Jade Evil Lady, but it was still different. Is this ultimate egg related to the Ice Jade Evil Lady's birthplace? Han Sen wondered as he stared at the ultimate egg. The ultimate egg was releasing a weird power. If it was not for Han Sen's Dongxian Sutra power and sensitive nature, he would not have been able to discern the presence of that power. That weird power came out of the ultimate egg and went into Han Sen's body. Up until now, he had been unable to find out what the weird power did. It was like the power went into his body, melted, and disappeared. It did not do any harm to his body. Nothing weird happened. Han Sen still felt as if something was wrong. Some unknown powers were inside his body. It was not a good thing. Hansen tried using a few powers. They could not work against the ultimate egg's power that had now taken root inside his body. He had to summon spell again. Of course, after he combined with spell, that weird power stopped going into his body. The ultimate egg's power. The Tai Chi symbol stopped running too. Hansen wanted to investigate the ultimate egg further, but he heard a voice come from behind a door. It made Hansen's heart jump. He cancelled his combination and used the Dongxian Sutra to simulate Zhao Ning'er's power. He became a mudman once more and returned to the table. He did not move an inch. Sister, this is the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman. It is Hansen who broke Jade Wall City. He looks very ordinary, does he not? A girl who looked exactly like Zhao Ning'er picked up Hansen, who looked like a mudman, and examined him. Zhao Ning'er laughed. Hansen is strong, but a strong power does not make someone invincible. Power must be used correctly and in the right place. Big sister, I want to break the world too, the girl said as she happily looked at Zhao Ning'er. What is that life soul you have? Can you get me one too? Zhao Ning'er shook her head. The God Chaos Party will trick your mind. They did not give me the life soul out of the goodness of their hearts. If it was not for the situation, I would not have accepted the life soul. Please do not try and do what I have done. Whatever. You are always like that, big sister. The girl left in a sulky mood. Zhao Ning'er stopped the girl and said, Leave the mudman. The God Chaos Party people are not here yet. Let me play with it for a while. The girl stuck her tongue out. She departed with the Hansen mudman in hand. Chapter 3268 Twin Sisters. Hansen thought. How come I have never heard about Zhao Ning'er having a twin sister before? In addition to that, they both look the same. Zhao Ning'er is the one I need to see right now. I do not want to spend time with her sister. The girl took Hansen up to her bedroom. She laid on the bed, holding the mudman that Hansen had become. She said to herself, Big sister is so strong. She captured the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman. Are life souls really that powerful? When ordinary people became mudmen, they would become real mudmen. There would be no sense of their former selves. Hansen, however, had not become an actual mudman. He heard whatever the girl said. Hansen watched the girl, who looked fairly worried. She said, Big sister was only born a few minutes before I was. She takes care of me. Although she has not said a word about it, I know she has worked very hard to provide for us. She keeps hanging around rich people to ensure I am never put at a disadvantage. She works so very hard. If it was not for me, big sister would not have taken the life soul. Hansen did not move. There were many sad stories in this world. Everyone had their excuses and sorrows. Hansen was not a god inside a Geno hall. He could not make everyone's wish come true. Hansen was just feeling a bit weird about it all. He wondered why the girl kept talking to a mudman. The girl placed the mudman down on the head of the bed. She put her hands together and prayed to the mudman. She looked sincere as she mumbled, I know you are innocent. Big sister did not hate you, and she should not have brought you harm. Big sister really did not want to hurt you. The reason she did was because of me. If you want to exact vengeance, become a ghost and haunt me. Do not lash out at my sister. The girl looked very sincere as she prayed to the mudman. Hansen believed the girl was serious. Whomever Zhao Ning'er turned into a mudman would be unable to hear her or understand what she was doing. This girl would not be faking this act. Hansen came up with a brilliant idea. He suddenly spoke up to say, If you are a kind person, you should just let me go. I will be grateful forever. The girl was shocked. She looked at Hansen, who was still a mudman, and asked, How are you still able to talk? A creature that my sister turns into a mudman should be as dull as a dead person. My powers are very special. I can talk, but I cannot get out of this place. If you are a really nice person, then be nice and let me go free. Hansen wanted to know if this girl was really nice or not. If I let you go, big sister will be very mad, the girl said with some hesitation. If you do not let me go, I will be killed. Do you really want me to die because of your sister? I really think you should help me. Please. Hansen begged. The girl hesitated. After a while she said, I can help you, but you must promise me one thing. You cannot hate my sister. You cannot trouble my sister. She was forced into doing this. She did not mean what she has done. Okay, I can promise you that. If your sister does not come to kill me, then I will not kill her. Hansen could not be sure if she was being really nice or faking it. The girl picked up the mudman and asked, "How can I save you? Can you take me back to the Qin kingdom?" Hansen asked. The girl shook her head. "I have never left the Jade system. Over the past few years, I have not even been able to leave planet Ning'er. I do not know how to get to the Qin kingdom. Even if I did know the way there, my sister would not allow me to leave planet Ning'er." Hansen pretended to be sad. "There is only one way, but that way is very difficult. I will require your cooperation if I am to save myself. If it is something that is within my capabilities of helping you, then I will help you," the girl said. Hansen paused and said, "To save me, you must break the restrictions your sister has placed on me." "Do you know how to erase the restrictions your sister left?" The girl shook her head. "The God Spirit blood pulse I have is different from the one my sister has. Our gene races are different. When she was given her life soul, she was able to break the world. I am afraid that cannot break her resistance." "I have a way that enables me to break it," Hansen said. "You must follow my instructions to use that power. Put your power in me, and I can erase my restrictions." "Sure." The girl nodded and agreed. "How would I do that?" After a brief think, Hansen said, "After you combine with a gene race, gather up its power on each of your fingers. Then place it on my." The girl followed Hansen's directions. Her body developed feathers that turned into a wing. Her body looked very holy. Upon seeing the power she wielded, it was obvious that her gene race was quite special. It was nothing ordinary, that was for sure. The girl held the mudman. She put her finger on Hansen and put her power into the mudman. Hansen thought the girl was very dumb. She really did put all of her power into his body. While that boosted his willingness to believe her, he did not put 100% faith in her just yet. Now comes the most important step. Put your power into your chest and kiss me on the forehead. Then, put the power in. It will only take a second to remove the restrictions. Hansen planned to give it a try. The girl did not hesitate. She did just as Hansen told her to. She put power in her chest and kissed the mudman on the forehead. Hansen felt some pure power enter him. It was a lot. The girl looked very pale. Sweat started to develop across her forehead. They have the same mother and are twins. Why is there such a big difference between the two? Hansen thought the young lady was dumb. The girl could see the mudman had yet to move. She thought she did not put in enough power, so she put more in. Hansen felt guilty for doing this. He did not mind tricking evil people. He would do it as much as he was able to, but tricking a dumb lady made Hansen feel absolutely terrible. Enough. The restrictions are gone. After that, Hansen returned to normal. After seeing Hansen come back alive, the girl looked delighted. She instantly looked nervous and said, "You promised me you would forgive my sister and not seek vengeance. Will you keep your promise?" "Don't worry. I Hansen keep promises. Assuming she does not come after me again, I will not go after her." Hansen nodded. "In that case you better run off now," the girl said. "Do not let my sister see. I will be unable to save you a second time." "In that case I am leaving." Hansen stood up and started walking. He pretended his legs went soft and was going to fall over. The girl held Hansen and offered support. She worriedly asked, "Are you okay?" "Breaking the restrictions cost me all my power. I am so weak that I cannot stand." Hansen leaned against the girl. He gasped as he spoke. Chapter 3269 The Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman? The girl looked confused as she asked Hansen, "Are you really the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman?" "Of course, I am the invincible #1 swordsman of the Qin Kingdom," Hansen said with a blink of his eyes. The girl did not believe it and asked, "If that is true, why are you still so weak? You sure do not look like the #1 swordsman who has all those stories about breaking the Jade Wall city of the Qin Kingdom." "That is because I did not eat yet. I am hungry. I do not have any strength. That was the only reason why I got captured by your sister. If I was not hungry, Not even 10 of your sisters would be enough to bring a guy like me down. Han Sen hastily asked, "Do you have any food around here? If you do not let me fill my stomach, I will not be able to walk any further. Now is not the time for food. How about this? I have many fruit trees. Many of them have a lot of fruit. Can you eat fruit?" The girl may not have believed him, but she still helped support Han Sen and made the suggestion. "Sure," Han Sen said with a nod. Before Zhao Ning'er made the trade with the God Chaos Party members, Han Sen could not leave. He knew he would have to stall for time. The girl carried Han Sen into a big greenhouse with many fruit trees. The branches of the fruit trees were full of fruit. The girl brought Han Sen over to a tree to sit next to. She collected a few pieces of fruit and gave them to Han Sr. "Quickly, eat some of these. After you are full, hurry up and get out of here. Do not let my sister find you again. You will not be so lucky next time." "I know." Han Sen nodded and bit into a fruit that looked like a pear. It was very sweet and excellent. "By the way, I still do not know your name." Han Sen ate as he looked at the girl. The girl said with seriousness, "My name Zhao Qiuyi. You can call me Qiuyi." "Is your name the reverse of your sister's name?" Han Sen casually said, "I think your name should belong to your big sister." He wanted to chat with her to stall for more time and wait for the God Chaos Party people to arrive. Zhao Qiuyi was shocked. "How do you know?" "Zhao Qiuyi was supposed to be my big sister's name. I am supposed to be Zhao Ning'er, but Teacher Tian said Zhao Qiuyi does not have good luck. So my name was given to my big sister. That way my sister was able to become a star. Meanwhile, I got to use her name." Han Sen casually guessed that, and was correct. "I see. Where did your big sister's life soul come from?" Han Sen wanted some more information. "It came from a very scary man. He gave it to my big sister. She rejected him, but the bad man wanted to bully me. My sister was unable to defeat the bad man, so she accepted the life soul and beat the bad man." Zhao Qiuyi had not spoken to anyone else in a long amount of time. After chatting, she seemed to forget Han Sen was supposed to leave the area. From what Zhao Qiuyi told him, Han Sen was able to understand a lot more about the dynamic between the sisters. Zhao Ning'er was the #1 singer of the Zhao kingdom. She looked very glorious, but no one knew how many difficulties she faced in her rise to stardom. The sisters were born in a noble place, but their family and parents died when they were only just teenagers. Zhao Ning'er was 13 years old when she was forced to take care of her little sister Zhao Qiuyi. The two of them lived together. They built quite a reputation for themselves. They had no parents and were both very pretty. It got them into a lot of trouble, and they suffered a lot. Han Sen could not imagine two 13-year-old pretty girls trying to preserve their legacy and safety in such a way. How hard was that? Zhao Ning'er was a mother too. She took care of Zhao Qiuyi. She did not let the pressure from the outside world ruin her. That was an incredibly difficult task. Han Sen could tell the difficulties Zhao Qiuyi mentioned were what Zhao Ning'er wanted her to see. There were more difficulties and challenges Zhao Ning'er did not want her to know about. Zhao Ning'er is a tough sister. Han Sen could not help but admire her. He had experienced something similar, so he was able to understand and empathize with the difficulties Zhao Ning'er had been forced to endure. Plus, Han Sen was a man, and Zhao Ning'er was just a woman. Supporting a family was hard for her. "You have eaten so much fruit. Shouldn't you have some strength by now?" Zhao Qiuyi just remembered Han Sen had to leave in a hurry. "Okay then. I am leaving." After Han Sen said that, he walked outside the garden. Zhao Qiuyi watched Han Sen slowly walk. She opened her eyes wide and asked, "Aren't you the #1 swordsman of the Qin kingdom? Can't you use teleportation?" Sigh. "I only just ate some food, and I am not full yet. I only have a little bit of power left. I can only walk. Do not worry. I will walk carefully. Your sister will not be able to detect me." After Han Sen said that, he departed via the garden's gate. He felt an abnormal presence in the area. He suspected the God Chaos Party had arrived. Zhao Qiuyi watched Han Sen leave and whispered to herself, "Did Big Sister get the wrong guy? He does not look like the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman. This presence, is it because Berry Path God arrived?" Han Sen looked at the tall tower. Shocking waves were crashing in the sea. A white tower sat atop the cliff. Zhao Ning'er was standing atop the tower. A man was coming across the waves. He crossed 1,000 miles with one step. He teleported in front of the tower. Berry Path God, you are finally here. Zhao Ning'er coldly looked at him. Berry Path God smiled. He put his hands out flat. He had a Gene egg in one hand. He said, I have brought you your dancing sky lady Gene egg. Where is my stuff? Give me the Gene egg, and I will give you Han Sun, Zhao Ning'er coldly said. Sure. Berry Path God tossed the Gene egg to Zhao Ning'er. He threw it like it was not a rare Gene egg, and something average. Zhao Ning'er collected the Gene egg, and was given a shock. She knew for sure this was the Dancing Sky Lady Gene egg. She had always dreamed of getting a Dancing Sky Lady for Zhao Qiuyi. It was a perfect match for Zhao Qiuyi's God Spirit Blood Pulse, so she understood the Dancing Sky Lady Gene egg. She would know if it was the real thing or not. I gave you the Gene egg, Berry Path God quietly said. Where is Han Sun? Hang on. I will go and get him for you. Zhao Ning'er broke space and left. She landed next to Zhao Qiuyi. Zhao Qiuyi's hands were empty. She frowned and asked, Where is the mud man? Zhao Qiuyi lowered her head and quietly said, I am sorry, big sister. I let him go. You what? Zhao Ning'er's face changed. Big sister, I really do not want you to hurt innocent people on my account, Zhao Qiuyi explained. Zhao Ning'er wanted to say something, but Berry Path God was already in front of them. He looked at Zhao Ning'er and coldly said, It looks like you did not keep your promise. Chapter 3270 Asking Heart. I will bring him back, Zhao Ning'er said with a frown. He cannot run far. I do not need him anymore, Berry Path God coldly said. His body developed a demonic presence as the sky went dark. Zhao Ning'er looked as if she was being isolated from the outside world. Zhao Ning'er's eyes froze. She stared at Berry Path God as she said, Berry Path God, this is the capital of the Zhao Kingdom. If you dare do anything here, the guardian god spirit will smite you with its wrath. Berry Path God did not move. He walked toward Zhao Ning'er and said, I have plunged this planet into an abyss. Not even a sky full of god spirits will be able to figure what is going on here now. Zhao Ning'er's face changed. She pulled Zhao Qiuyi behind her. She looked at Berry Path God and said, You cannot kill me, and there is no benefit for you killing me either. I can complete our deal and get Han Sun back. Killing you might not benefit me, but your life soul has matured. It is time to get it back. As for Han Sun, if he has run, you will never be able to get another chance. Berry Path God kept approaching at a slow pace. The whole world was buried by his oppressive footsteps. They elicited extreme pressure and fear. Zhao Ning'er felt as if she could not breathe. Zhao Qiuyi, however, was on the floor as if she had been physically crushed. If it was not for Zhao Ning'er being there, Zhao Qiuyi's body would have been completely crushed by the scary pressure. Zhao Ning'er knew this fight could not be avoided. She did not want Zhao Qiuyi to deal with the pressure. Therefore, she shouted and made a scary presence envelope her body. She was like a god woman shouting at Berry Path God. Let me ask you, Berry Path God, how heavy is the sky? A raging god sound turned into a weird power. It went straight to Berry Path God. It was like it was bumping into his body, stopping Berry Path God from moving. Berry Path God was emotionless. He coldly answered, Your asking heart power is surprisingly useful, but it does not work on me. Stop wasting your time. Berry Path God, let me ask you again. How heavy is the sky? Zhao Ning'er gnashed her teeth and used the asking heart language. A weird power wrapped up Berry Path God. It made Berry Path God stop. He could not keep going. The world breaking came to an end. Berry Path God coldly looked at Zhao Ning'er and said, 33. After that, Berry Path God walked forward and kept approaching Zhao Ning'er. Blurg! Zhao Ning'er spat out blood. The asking heart power backfired, but she was already prepared for that. She knew Berry Path God would have an answer. What is above the 33 skies? Zhao Ning'er exploded with god light. This time she was scarier. A weird power broke the rules of the world and landed on Berry Path God. He stopped again. Above the 33 skies is outer sky, Berry Path God answered. With a sense of overbearing, he continued marching forward. He was 10 steps away from Zhao Ning'er at this point. Zhao Ning'er coughed up more blood. Her body started to crack. Blood seeped out through the gaps. Her nose started to bleed. The asking heart language started to consume her again. What is above outer sky? As Zhao Ning'er spoke, her hair became a wild mess that started to float and fly. God light exploded once more while she asked the question. Above 33 Azine. Berry Path God didn't stop. He stepped forward when he spoke the first word. The crushing world was coming closer to Zhao Ning'er. Zhao Ning'er was bleeding from 7 orifices. Her asking heart power needed her to ask difficult questions to stop the opponent, so they could turn that person into a mudman. If the opponent's heart was fine and unrattled, leading to them being able to provide an answer to her question, the asking heart power was useless. She asked 3 questions, yet she was unable to stop Berry Path God. It resulted in her being the one wounded. It was a really terrible state of affairs. Big sister. I am sorry. I was wrong. Zhao Qiuyi regretted things very much. If it was not for her letting Han Sen go, Zhao Ning'er would not be suffering. This has nothing to do with you, Zhao Ning'er said. It looks like he wants to kill me anyway. Even if you had given me Han Sen, he would still be doing this. Qiuyi, you should just run. She forced herself to use break world powers. She used the asking heart language against Berry Path God. What is above the Een world? My heart can go through you. From ancient times to now, the universe's 10 billion years are in one thought. Your asking heart power does not work on me. You should stop wasting time. Berry Path God did not answer. He drew an item. It was the size of a ping-pong ball. It was an egg that looked like a crystal. A flame-like fire was inside of it. Berry Path God used his fingertip to point at the egg. He mumbled some mysterious chanting spells and conjured some weird power inside his finger, which he then put onto the gene egg. Boom. The gene egg's fire blew up with a ravaging flame that burned. It wrapped up the whole gene egg. Arg! Zhao Ning'er suddenly screamed, and was kneeling on the floor. She went on all fours as a break world power exploded madly. Her body was affected by the power, and started to change. Her black hair turned white. Her small ears became long and sharp. Her back displayed snow-white wings. Her armor exploded. Her skin had white feathers. Big sister, what has happened to you? Zhao Qiuyi touched Zhao Ning'er, but she could not ease her pain and revert her status. Zhao Ning'er unleashed screams that could break hearts and one's lungs. Her body kept morphing. She turned from a human into a white bird. Berry Path God looked at Zhao Ning'er change. He spoke to himself. Did this test subject succeed? A shocking sky bird sound shocked the sky. Zhao Ning'er's body became a completely white god bird. Her entire body burned with a mysterious flame. She was like a phoenix that was born from a fire. Berry Path God was holding a gene egg. The fire looked like the shadow of Zhao Ning'er. She flapped her wings and flew around the interior of the gene egg. It seemed to reflect whatever the gene egg did. Zhao Ning'er's god bird started to fly. It blew Zhao Qiuyi away. She flew into the sky. Come. The break world beast. Asking heart. Berry Path God's eyes were on fire. He raised the gene egg in his hands. It seemed to be drawn by some power. Zhao Ning'er's god bird flew toward the gene egg in Berry Path God's hands. It was like a moth flying to a flame. Big sister. No. Zhao Qiuyi was crying so hard that it seemed like she would tear up her lungs or heart. She crawled forward, wanting to chase Zhao Ning'er's god bird. Alas, she could not. Hearing Zhao Qiuyi cry, the god bird stopped. It stopped flying to the gene egg. It looked like it was wrestling with indecision. Come. You will be the strongest creature in the universe. How beautiful is this life? This is what you should have. Berry Path God looked excited. He put more power into his gene egg. The shadows were on the gene egg. They were wrapped up by the flaming god bird. Zhao Ning'er looked as if she was struggling. She looked to be in a lot of pain. Her eyes bled bloody tears, but her body flew to the gene egg. Chapter 3271 Phoenix Head Harp Seeing Zhao Ning'er turned into a white god bird. As she approached the gene egg, she suddenly saw a knife air rise up not too far from the coast. It suddenly slashed in front of Berry Path God to almost hit the gene egg. Berry Path God looked into the sky and put the gene egg away. His other hand became a fist that was thrown forward in a punch to hit the sword air. Boom! The punching power hit the sword air. Berry Path God's body was shaken backward. The power created a shock wave. It created a large wave in the sea like chains. Zhao Ning'er was now a white god bird, and the clarity of her actions was improved. She flew toward Zhao Qiuyi. Zhao Qiuyi was both shocked and happy. She looked to where the sword air had come from. She saw a man arrive via the beach. It was Han Sun, who she had previously let go. Han Sun, how dare you come back? Berry Path God pulled his fist back. He looked at Han Sun as he spoke. I never left, so I am not coming back. Han Sun continued stepping forward. His sword air became more and more powerful. His sword mind became stronger with every step closer he took. Berry Path God did not move. He looked at Zhao Ning'er, who had become a white god bird. He said, if you did not leave, then stay. After that, Berry Path God exploded. The gene egg in his right hand glowed. It was like a sun shining brightly through the sky and across the earth. The god bird shadow of the gene egg exploded. One bird sound shocked the sky and the ground. Zhao Ning'er had almost reached Zhao Qiuyi's position through flight. When she heard that bird sound, though her body shook, she was unable to control herself. She flapped her wings and flew toward the gene egg again. Han Sun frowned. He moved 10 fingers and became a sword air, messily headed for Berry Path God. No one can stop her from becoming a break-world beast, Berry Path God coldly said. The space around him started to fall. When Han Sun's sword air came close, it got stuck in it. It became buried in the fallen space. Nothing could be done about it. Zhao Ning'er, who was a white god bird, flew very fast. Seeing she was about to reach the gene egg that looked like a glowing sun, Zhao Qiuyi looked antsy and angry. She did not care for her own well-being as she raced into the sky after her sister. She was not as fast as Zhao Ning'er, who had now transformed to become a white god bird. She was unable to catch up with her. Han Sun looked at Berry Path God. He drew his inch gray sword. Dongxian Sutra's break-world power gathered atop the blade of the inch gray sword. The sword was like a light as it was wielded. The sword light went across the space in front of Berry Path God. The fallen space was cut open by the sword light. Berry Path God's body flickered. Although he was able to dodge the sword light, the clothes across his chest were given a long swipe. It revealed his naked chest and the slight brush of a sword that had swept across it. It is no wonder why this is the old leader's sword. Berry Path God's face did not change. He complimented the inch gray sword, but he never talked about Han Sun's sword skills. It was as if Han Sun was not worthy of praise. Han Sun did not care for the snub. He grabbed Zhao Ning'er, who was now a white god bird, and pulled her away. Berry Path God extended one of his fingers to stroke the wound across his chest. His wound was healed by that finger as if he had simply zipped his skin up. Berry Path God said, "You are not bad. It is a shame she already has the mark of the God Chaos Party. No one will be able to prevent her from becoming a break-world beast." He placed the gene egg out in front of him. The gene egg's light became dimmer. Han Sun saw that the fire inside the gene egg was like a burning white candle. Because of the burning, the white candle itself had almost completely gone away. With Berry Path God's power, the little bit of candle left was burnt. The gene egg's flame was put out. At the same time, Zhao Ning'er, who had been grabbed by Han Sun and had a white god bird body, collapsed. She turned into white dots and flew toward the gene egg. Han Sun frowned. He could not stop anything from happening. When the white dots went into the gene egg lit up. The white light generated a god bird that looked like a phoenix. Ketcha. The god bird was formed. The gene egg's crystal-like shell was shattered. A white god bird phoenix flew out of it, spreading its wings. Its presence was very scary. The sound of a bird ripped space. Scary shockwaves went across the planet. Everything that touched the shockwave became dust. Even the sea turned into a sea of sand. It worked. Berry Path God was happy about that. He reached out his hand and grabbed the neck of the white god bird. When Berry Path God tightened his hands, the body of the white god bird burned. It changed, giving it the head of a harp. Han Sun, it is your lucky day. You have been able to witness the birth of a break-world beast. I will let you try this asking heart phoenix head harp. Berry Path God held the phoenix head harp. He placed his fingers on the strings and started to play it. The sonic powers came out from the harp. The harp only produced one sound. In Han Sen's ears, it was like countless god spirits were screaming at him. Does God exist? Is Han Jinji my great-granddad? What does Qin Xiu want? The voice was his. It was interrogations from the deepest reaches of his soul. The many questions Han Sen wanted answered did not even have an answer. The questions and desires were dredged up by the godly sounds. They echoed through his head like thunder. It was getting louder and louder. It was almost enough to make him deaf. Han Sen noticed he could no longer move. He was turning to dust. His skin started to look like sand. The power of the Blood Pulse Sutra could not prohibit his body from changing. Han Sen used the Dongxian Sutra to change the rules of the power. He was barely able to block the sonic power. He could not stop the sounds of the harp. The sounds of the harp tortured his heart. They kept corroding his heart. They corroded the Dongxian Sutra. Han Sen knew this was not because the Dongxian Sutra was weak. It was just that his break-world powers weren't enough. His Dongxian Sutra had only just managed to break the world. The Phoenix Head Harp's power was above the break-world materialization and level. It was a higher level than a demon god sword. It was 2 levels higher than the Dongxian Sutra. The Dongxian Sutra could usually go against something higher than it. It could temporarily block the phoenix sound, so it was already powerful. A break-world beast is so strong when it becomes a break-world weapon. A break-world beast has only just been created. Yet the power is like a level 3 elite. If Berry Path God's eyes looked excited. He looked at Han Sen, suffering in his enduring of the harp's power. It prompted Berry Path God to coldly say, "Dying at the hands of a break-world weapon means you are lucky. So just die." While he was talking, Berry Path God played his harp again. This time he plucked more than just one string. He plucked a few of them. Scary shockwaves went everywhere, covering the sky and ground around Han Sr. Chapter 3272 Firing an arrow at Berry Sky. The scary harp sounds were like whips of the soul. They kept lashing Han Sen's heart. They interrogated the deepest recesses of his soul. He could not avoid them. If his heart was questioned, he was corroded by the asking heart phoenix head harp's power. As a result, Han Sen's body kept turning into sand. His skin was like sand, wasting away to the wind. Han Sen. Zhao Qiui gathered up power. She wanted to help Han Sen withstand the scary harp sounds. When her power touched the harp, it turned into dust. She was blown away. Even her body was affected. Her snow-white skin looked like sand, similar to how it was affecting Han. Senator Han Sen looked serious. His body and mind were trapped. He could not use his sword either. Han Sen, you can still choose to join me right now, Berry Path God, who was very high in the God Chaos Party, said. I can turn you into the vice president of the God Chaos Party. You can be below me but above everyone else. That is a mighty privilege. Han Sen started to look relaxed. He looked at Berry Path God and slowly said, the leader of the God Chaos Party should be Qin Xiu right about now. You and I should cooperate. Getting the God Chaos Party back should not be difficult. I will be the leader, and you will be the vice president. Up the sky, down on the ground, in the Yin world, and in the Yang world. We will be the bosses of all. We won't reincarnate, and we will not heed the fickle callings of destiny. How awesome would that be? Berry Path God was doing his best to tempt him. He did not want to take Han Sen because of his great power. The most important thing to him was that he knew Han Sen had a special connection to Qin Xiu and Wan'er. He knew about Qin Xiu, so he wanted Han Sen for himself to help deal with Qin Xiu. You and I can cooperate, but I do not want to be the lesser, Han Sen said with a laugh. I will be the leader, and you will be one of the goons. It looks like you do not know what the expensive price of life is. Berry Path God's face looked dim. He put his finger on another string and plucked it. He played more of that wretched music. Han Sen's body and skin were turning into sand, but he still looked very calm. Seeing the intense shockwave, his face did not change. He said to himself, Ice Jade Evil Lady, it is time you live up to your promise. I need your power and I need it now. It is useless to call on someone else right about now. Even if a sky full of god spirits were here, you would not escape death. Under the asking harp's sound, you will be rendered nothing but dust. Berry Path God raged as he played the harp now. The harp sounds were coming fast. An ice jade color was spreading on Hansen's body. His black hair turned into ice. Even his eyes looked crystal like a jade stone. His sandy skin looked like crystal now. It was more perfect than it was before. It was like a jade statue that had walked out from the ice. A sky full of harp sounds came, but they were unable to leave a mark on Hansen's jade-like skin. Hansen and the Ice Jade Evil Lady combined to break the world. He now had the purest body ever. Not a single speck of dust or dirt marred his image. It was not just his skin that had become like jade. Even his heart had become jade. He was utterly flawless. Even facing a sky full of gods and Buddhas that sought to torture his heart, he would not hesitate or be led astray. You have two different elemental break world powers. Berry Path God frowned and looked at Hansenator. A creature that could practice break world powers had likely spent most of its life trying to reach such a level. Plus, people were often restricted by their nature. Ordinary creatures could only break the world with one element. Not many creatures could break the world with two powers. He was a special one when it came to break world elites. Hansen did not say anything in response. His body had been trapped by the sonic power, but he was now able to move. The asking harp's sound was unable to stop Hansen's movements. Wherever he moved, the things he touched became clean. It was as if all the dirt had been cleansed. A short bow and an arrow appeared in Hansen's hand. It was the Flying Yen Spear. He had modified it to become a bow. It was a weapon Hansen was very talented with. Hansen looked at Berry Path God. He slowly drew the string of the bow. He pulled it to the max. He then stopped hesitating. He let go of his fingers that were holding the bowstring. The arrow carried a spinning power that tore through all the rules. It carried a power that was imbued with the essence of Super Spank. The Dongxian Sutra broke the basic substances of the universes and created a scary destructive power. Berry Path God was shocked. He felt as if he could not dodge that arrow. Through reflex, he gathered up power and lifted the asking Phoenix head harp to block the arrow. The arrow was unbelievably fast. When the arrow tip almost struck the asking Phoenix head harp's frame, the arrow disappeared. It was like magic. Berry Path God's gaze froze. His body ripped space and fell back. It was still too late. The black arrow weirdly appeared in his chest. It pierced through his armor and perforated his chest. Boom. A scary power blew Berry Path God's body away. He was like a star falling into the sea. He created a big tsunami. The phoenix head harp flew away with him. In the air, it looked like a white phoenix god bird. Hansen broke space and went to the bottom of the sea. He saw an arrow at the bottom of the sea embedded in a rock. Berry Path God was gone. Torn clothes were under the sea. Super Spank power hit his body, but it did not kill him. Berry Path God is very strong. Hansen was shocked. He knew Berry Path God had departed, so Hansen left too. He went to the shore. Berry Path God had departed. Planet Ning'er returned to normal. The sea also returned to normalcy as if nothing had happened. Zhao Qiuyi held the break-world beast Zhao Ning'er and cried. Zhao Ning'er became a white phoenix god bird that cried too. Hansen, you are the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman. You have an incredible amount of power. You must have a way to help my sister recover. I beg you to save my sister. Zhao Qiuyi kowtowed before Hansen the moment she saw him. Hansen held her body. He looked at Zhao Ning'er, who was a break-world beast, and said, I might be able to turn you back to normal, but it won't work 100%. There is only a 20% to 30% chance you will regain your human form. If this process fails, I do not know what will happen. Do you still fancy giving it a go? Zhao Ning'er could not speak. She made a bird sound and nodded at Han Sr. Okay then. Let's give it a try. Hansen did not want to save Zhao Ning'er, because of Zhao Qiuyi's repeated begging. He wanted to know what a break-world beast was and learn if his power could affect a break-world beast or not. Hansen gathered up a Xian Yellow Sutra power. The Xian Yellow Sutra power could turn a gene race back to an egg. He wondered what would happen if that power hit a breakworld beast. This was his chance to find out. Can this power turn Zhao Ning'er back into a human? Or will it turn her into an egg like a gene race? It might not even work at all. Han Sen had all these questions run through his mind as he punched Zhao Ning'er. Chapter 3273 Zhao Ning'er's Makeover. The power of the Xian Yellow Sutra hit Zhao Ning'er. It made Han Sen feel like he was throwing oil into a pot of water. The power of the Xian Yellow Sutra could not blend into the blood of Zhao Ning'er. Han Sen thought, it looks like after Zhao Ning'er became a breakworld beast, her body reached a whole other level. It is not only her power that has changed. The Xian Yellow Sutra power cannot shift her blood pulse. He used the Xian Yellow Sutra to break the world. A red power slowly became visible. It was like a bloody flame that sought to envelop Zhao Ning'er's entire body. Han Sen sensed that after breaking the world, the Xian Yellow Sutra could penetrate Zhao Ning'er's body. Even if it was successful, it blended in slowly. It had the pace of a snail. Han Sen was shocked. The breakworld beasts Qin Xiu created are scary. Zhao Ning'er has only just become a breakworld beast. Yet she already has this scary body. She is no weaker than a breakworld power that is a solid elite or even stronger. How did Qin Xiu even manage to accomplish this? What is a life soul? When the Xian Yellow Sutra's power went into Zhao Ning'er's body, Han Sen felt it combine extremely slowly. Because of its speed, Han Sen estimated his power would be emptied by the time he could get Zhao Ning'er back to the way she was. Now Zhao Ning'er's blood pulse had devolved. The feathers on her body grew smaller. Some of her skin appeared human-like. If Han Sen stopped now, Zhao Ning'er's blood pulse would be left in an impure state. The consequences of that would be bad. There was even a chance of her blood pulse blowing up. If that happened, she would die. Han Sen gnashed his teeth. He cast the Dongxian Sutra. He went into break-world mode and put the Dongxian Sutra's power into Zhao Ning'er's body. The break-world Dongxian Sutra could keep things at the most primitive substances. The Dongxian Sutra could return to origin. The last time he combined the two of them, the flying yen spear was turned into a bow. It was a very successful instance of the trick. The flying yen spear was a sacrificial weapon. It was for creating things while Zhao Ning'er was a living being. Han Sen did not know what would happen if he tried doing that for her, but he could not stop now. He had to keep going no matter what. The Grey Dongxian Sutra's break-world power and Dark Red Xian Yellow Sutra's break-world power combined with Zhao Ning'er's body. In Han Sen's eyes, Zhao Ning'er was no longer a living human. She was just a substance chain that was made from countless, small little dots. The substance chains weaved together to create a complex machine. Different colored dots queued up differently. They created different types of substance chains. Different substance chains lined up differently. They formed the shape of organs like a machine with all sorts of different parts. Han Sen shockingly realized life was just a machine. It was merely more complicated than ordinary machines. The Dongxian Sutra's power let Han Sen understand life machine origin. It gave him the power to take it all apart and rebuild things. The Xian Yellow Sutra power enabled Han Sen to know what the most basic use of each machine was, and it allowed him to modify the parts into the best they could be. Under the cooperation of these two powers, the origin of Zhao Ning'er's body was torn apart and rebuilt. Some unneeded life substances were cut out. More life substances were rebuilt. It made new substance chain structures. The life soul combined with Zhao Ning'er's body, which meant her body had major changes to it. Her life soul skills had yet to mature. After all, they were two lives combined. The difficulties and errors faced when doing something like this were too much. Although Zhao Ning'er combined with it successfully, her body still had lots of problems to endure. Han Sen's Dongxian Sutra power and Xian Yellow Sutra power were able to sort all of this out. He combined the two in the best way possible. It made Zhao Ning'er's body exhibit even more changes. Zhao Ning'er's body was wrapped up by black and red power. It was like she was trapped in a cocoon of light. She was like a butterfly in a cocoon, getting changes that flipped the sky and the ground. Zhao Qiuyi was unable to see what was happening to Zhao Ning'er, because she was trapped inside the cocoon of light. Her heart jumped. It felt as if it was going to jump out of her chest. She stared at the cocoon of light without reprieve. Sis, you are going to be okay? Zhao Qiuyi put her hand atop her chest. It looked as if she was praying. Hansen coughed up some blood. After Zhao Ning'er broke the world, her body proved to be too strong. Hansen had to combine 2 break world powers to morph her body. Even so, it still felt extraordinarily difficult. The power in his body was almost depleted. He was going to collapse any second. Fortunately, Zhao Ning'er's will is not all gone yet. If she cooperated with Berry Path God, the guy who would run away would be me. Break world beasts really are scary. I do not know how many Qin Xiu has. Hansen gnashed his teeth and held on. His body shook as sweat drenched his body. It was like he had just been for a dunk in water. It was a clear sign of exhaustion. At this stage, he knew he could not give up. Even if it was just by the skin of his teeth, he had to hold on. Hansen's break world powers were not solid. They were at a lower level than Zhao Ning'er, and Zhao Ning'er's was not solid despite being scarier than a normal solid break world elite. If Hansen could break a solid break world power, it would not be too hard to change Zhao Ning'er. Now it was proving too hard. If Zhao Ning'er cooperated with the power, Hansen could not change her body. Hansen's skin was becoming gray. The glow in his eyes looked dim. His body was shaking and starting to look skinnier. I can't hold on anymore. How much longer until she has finished modifying? Hansen felt like he was a lamp running out of oil. He could not continue. This was not something he could just endure and then go past. When the power was gone, it was gone. It was like money. If it all got spent, it was all spent. He was not able to just squeeze out some more. He needed time to recover. At this point, Hansen did not have the time to recover. The break world powers were not like other powers. One could not recover with the powers of the universe. Break world powers were powers that challenged the sky. The powers of the universe could not aid them. Many veins inside Hansen's body broke. They made his skin look red. Hansen knew that if this continued, his body would collapse. Hansen gnashed his teeth. He looked mean. I have to risk this for Zhao Qiuyi's sake. I have tried my best to help you, but to live or not live will ultimately depend on yourself. Hansen suddenly used power. He instantly cast 4 Geno arts. He entered his xenogenic mode. He used all of his power and gunned it all into Zhao Ning'er's body. When his power was cast out, Hansen's body was completely exhausted. He did not even have the strength left to drink milk. He fell to the floor like a sack of mud and was paralyzed. Chapter 3274 Harp Sound to repel enemies. Hansen had spent far too much of his power. He could no longer feel Zhao Ning'er's situation. He could only see her body get wrapped up by black and red fires. It was like a demonic cocoon that came from hell. Hansen, are you okay? What happened to my sister? Zhao Qiuyi moved to pick up Han's senator. She was speaking with a strange tone of voice. I am fine. As for your sister, I guess it is all down to fate. Hansen did not know what was going to happen to Zhao Ning'er. This situation was beyond his control. Hansen made the secret decision he would not modify life and objects that were not his. It was way too dangerous for him. He knew that what he said would make Zhao Qiuyi more worried. But Hansen did not want to give her too much hope. At best, even Hansen thought the results were unpredictable. Things might go awry. To have hope and then see it stripped away was awful. It was far better to expect the worst. Hansen was powerless. Zhao Qiuyi had to assist him in sitting down. In case something else happened, he cast the Xian Yellow Sutra on himself. Zhao Qiuyi looked at the light cocoon. Hansen noticed the cocoon was becoming smaller. It was 30 feet wide at one point. Not long later, it was 21 feet wide. Although the cocoon was smaller, he had yet to see any sign of Zhao Ning'er's body. When Zhao Ning'er became a god bird, she looked bigger. If she still had her bird body, he would have been able to see it by now. When the cocoon was 12 feet wide, there were still no feathers. It helped inflate Zhao Qiuyi with more hope. Suddenly, a shadow arrived. It came one step near the coast. It was Berry Path God, who had just run away a moment before. Are humans always that stupid? Berry Path God raised his hand. His hands were burning with a scary gray flame. He used his palm like a knife and threw a slash toward Han Senator Dong. Han Sen saw the scary presence rise. It was like he had a powerful, twisted space. The demon god sword spirit appeared in front of Han Sen to block Berry Path God's knife. A transparent and gray light exploded. Everything was destroyed. Ah, so you have come here with the intent of killing me all because you believe I am stupid, Han Sen coldly said. I am stupid because I am a human, who, according to you, are stupid by default? Well, killing me doesn't seem so easy now, does it? Yuxil. The demon god sword spirit was Qin Yuan's annihilation god spirit gene race, but Han Sen modified it with the Dongxian Sutra and Xian Yellow Sutra. It was now Han Sen's gene race. Han Sen planned on making the demon god sword spirit a sub-god in his god of wealth temple, but he had yet to get his hands on a god base. So he kept carrying it around with him. After modifying it, the demon god sword spirit was very strong. It had a break world-class sword air. Although it was not solid, it was still stronger than most break world creatures. Creatures and items that were modified by the Xian Yellow Sutra and the Dongxian Sutra would have increased powers. The more powerful a creature or item was, the harder they were to modify. Do you think a demon god sword spirit that cannot break a break world solidified power can truly defeat me? Berry Path God was cold as ice. He waved his hand with a gray power. The demon god sword spirit unleashed a scary and invisible sword air. It combined with Berry Path God's gray power. An invisible sword air destroyed the gray power. The sword air was disappearing. Even the demon god sword spirit's body had a crack. There were small cracks along the sword. Han Sen frowned. After he modified the demon god sword spirit, it was phenomenally strong. Berry Path God's wave almost broke the sword. This power was similar to that of Zhao Ning'er. Plus, Han Sen did not see any wounds manifest on Berry Path God. He shot Berry Path God's heart. Now that place was broken, but the skin was whole. There were no marks. Well, I have to confess. The God Chaos Party's vice president really is a powerful dude, Han Sen said to compliment him. Berry Path God was not in the mood to talk to his opponent. It was not as if he could not fight Han Senator Berry Path God just didn't want to take a risk. After he was shot he ran. In fact, it did not hurt him much. Now Han Sen had spent all his power. Berry Path God was not going to pass up on this chance. He returned with the plan to finish off Han Sen once and for all. In the process he would take Zhao Ning'er, who had turned into a break world beast, back with him. He would still be the winner. Berry Path God stepped forward. The sky and the ground were collapsing. Berry Path God looked cold. He swung a punch. Wherever his punch reached, things turned into dust. Han Sen felt that scary power. He knew the demon sword god spirit would be ineffective in repelling that attack. He looked cold. Han Sen was trying to find an item that might save his life when he suddenly heard a phoenix scream. Suddenly, a snowy white light was blinding him. The cocoon he had made was broken. A white light came pouring out of the cocoon. A lady was emerging from it. She had white hair that reached her toes. She looked very refreshing. She was like a fairy. She looked extremely holy. It was as if not a speck of dirt could mar her image. Behind her were the white wings of a phoenix. She had a holy light around her. They were like musical notes. It was like they were there, but they were not there. It all flowed around her. When the notes came out, the sky and the ground heeded her loudly. The phoenix's cry came from the lady. It was pure sonic power. It made the gray power's shockwave tilt and move away. It shattered amidst a sonic explosion. Before the gray power reached Han Sen, it vanished amidst the sonic force. Big sister. Zhao Qiuyi screamed with shock. Han Sen and Berry Path God saw Zhao Ning'er. She looked weird. To say she was a human did not seem quite right, but she looked different from her prior phoenix mode. Is this the real shape of a break-world beast? Her power will be better than mine. Berry Path God looked at Zhao Ning'er. He seemed very excited. Zhao Ning'er's jade feet were naked as she emerged. Her body was like a phoenix, flying in the sky. She flew toward Han Senator. Her body emitted a scary light and music. As Zhao Ning'er flew to Han Sen, her body became a phoenix head harp. She landed near Han Senator. Han Sen could not play the harp. When he held the phoenix head harp, He felt a scary and mysterious power swirl around it. Han Sen's fingers touched the string. He gathered up power and tried to flick it. He instantly heard a very loud sound echo through space. Blurred. After the harp's sound, Berry Path God spat out blood. His body ripped space. He fell into the rip in space and was gone. The space around them collapsed. Han Sen was unable to chase after him, so he gave up the thought of doing so. Chapter 3275 One good harp. Han Sen stroked the body of the phoenix head harp and complimented it. It really is one good harp. The phoenix head harp was able to use his power. It turned into asking heart power. With the phoenix head harp's power, he was able to make Berry Path God spill blood. Even if Han Sen did not know how to conduct music or play an instrument, a harp like that was still something he really loved. Of course, Han Sen did not have much power now. He had only recovered a little. The power of the harp mostly came from the phoenix head harp. One could imagine how scary the power of the phoenix head harp was. Han Sen really loved the phoenix head harp. After stroking it twice, he suddenly felt as if something was wrong. He immediately realized the phoenix head harp had become Zhao Ning'er. He was touching Zhao Ning'er's waist. Han Sen let Zhao Ning'er go and asked, "What is your situation right now? Are you a human or are you a break-world beast?" He was not a young man anymore. He looked as if he was around 20 years old, but he was already 30 to 40 years old. He did not feel shame quite as easily the older he became. Zhao Ning'er looked at Han Senator. Her phoenix wings spread. They became feathered clothing. They covered her white, flawless body. "I do not know what I am now, but at least I look like a person again," Zhao Ning'er coldly said. "Big sis, it is great that you're okay." Zhao Qiuyi ran forward to hug Zhao Ning'er. Zhao Ning'er stroked Zhao Qiuyi's hair as she said, "Qiuyi, you do not have to worry about anything anymore. I have the power needed to keep you protected. No one will ever be able to bully you again." Han Sen was not as chirpy as Zhao Ning'er. She was strong and the best a solid break-world creature could be. If she was saying she could protect herself, it might have been too soon to make that judgment. If other people had Zhao Ning'er's power, they would be safe. Zhao Ning'er was different. She was Qin Xiu's test subject. It was unlikely Qin Xiu would leave her alone. Putting aside Qin Xiu, who was very scary, even if Berry Path God challenged her to another one-on-one fight, there was no guarantee she could win. Berry Path God's blood spilled because of the harp, but he had the power to leave. Zhao Ning'er would certainly be beaten if she was to underestimate him. Han Sen did not tell her all of that. He knew it was pointless for him to say it. He needed Zhao Ning'er to understand it herself. If it was said by someone else, she would not listen. That is good. If there is nothing else left for me here, then I will be leaving. Han Sen understood what a break-world beast was, so there was no further point in him staying. "Hang on, Mr. Han," Zhao Ning'er said. "If you do not mind, we would like to travel with you." "Travel with me? Are you guys going to the Qin Kingdom?" Han Sen looked at Zhao Ning'er with surprise. Zhao Qiuyi looked at Zhao Ning'er with confusion. She did not know what she was intending to do. "It does not matter where you are going," Zhao Ning'er said. She looked at Han Sen and smiled. "Wherever you go, we would like to follow you." Zhao Ning'er had a pure, innocent look on her face, but her presence was deadly. She had white hair with a pure presence. It was extremely attractive. And after she said that, even Han Sen was surprised. Fortunately, Han Sen was a faithful man. He only looked at Zhao Ning'er with admiration. "Miss Zhao, you must be joking. I cannot afford you both." Zhao Ning'er blinked and said, "If you are willing to take us with you, we have savings of our own. We can take care of you." Han Sen almost choked on his own saliva. Seeing Han Sen like that, Zhao Ning'er laughed. "Please do not misunderstand my intent. I am an enemy of the God Chaos Party. You are an enemy of the God Chaos Party too. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I just want to work with you. I am not super powerful, but I can be of service. Please do not abandon me so simply." Upon hearing Zhao Ning'er's suggestion that they cooperate, Han Sen did not look very happy. He frowned. He and Zhao Ning'er were enemies of the God Chaos Party, but there was a big difference between them. Zhao Ning'er was owned by the God Chaos Party. In the future, the God Chaos Party would try its best to take Zhao Ning'er back. They might even try to kill her. Han Sen and the God Chaos Party's feud was born differently. They had conflict every now and again, but he was never pursued. He just had to fight them sometimes. If they worked together, the God Chaos Party might have an even greater desire to see them both eliminated. After a lengthy pause in which he thought about it all, he told Zhao Ning'er, "You can choose to cooperate with me, but there is one thing I must explain to you first." "Please do tell me," Zhao Ning'er said with a smile. "If you and I cooperate, I will be the leader of this little party," Han Sen said with absolute certainty. "You adhere to my command. If you can't do that, then I do not think we should work together." Zhao Ning'er seemed hesitant, but she seriously bowed and replied, "I will listen to everything you tell me. If things are indeed like that, you two should go and pack. You can follow me back to the Qin Kingdom." Han Sen knew the God Chaos Party would not stop. He planned to go back to the Qin Kingdom, pick up Bauer, and decide what to do next. His situation was no better than Zhao Ning'er's current situation. The God Chaos Party was bound to strike again soon. Zhao Ning'er took Zhao Qiuyi with her to pack their bags. Zhao Qiuyi did not understand what was going. "Big sis, you are so powerful. Why must you cooperate with Han Sen?" Zhao Ning'er shook her head and said, "You are too young. There are plenty of things you are not able to understand. I am powerful, but Berry Path God is not afraid of me. When it comes to Han Sen, even when he was really exhausted, Berry Path God avoided being reckless. He treats him like a massive enemy." "In that case, that's his fault," Zhao Qiuyi said. She did not agree. Zhao Ning'er displayed a wry smile. She was not naive like Zhao Qiuyi. "Anyway, the God Chaos Party will not let me go so simply. It will be safer for us to stay near Han Senator. He understands the God Chaos Party more than we do." One thing Zhao Ning'er did not mention was the fact that if this was all about her, she would just go into hiding or fight them. More than anything, she was just worried about the God Chaos Party doing something awful to Zhao Qiuyi. That was her greatest fear. Han Sen went into the garden. He drank tea while waiting for the Zhao family to pack. He suddenly saw a shadow fall from the sky. It fell into Han Sen's arms. Han Sen quickly reacted. He grabbed the shadow and had a closer look. It was Big Sky Demon who had been gone for so long. Big Sky Demon looked terrible. Her face was paler than snow. She was terribly wounded. Han Sen had never touched her before. This was the first time he had been able to touch her curvy and demonic body. He could feel her warmth. Chapter 3276 Big Sky Demon returns. Little lover. Have you not always tried to get rid of me? Now I am injured and cannot possibly fight back. This is the best chance you have of killing me. Even if you just move a finger, it will be more than enough for you to kill me. Although Big Sky Demon looked terrible, she was still able to put on a smile. Her jade arms were wrapped around Han Sen's neck. She was like a little cat in his arms. Her words were spoken with a sultry drawl. "Why are you injured?" Han Sen knew how powerful Big Sky Demon was. Not many beings in this world of kingdoms should have been able to harm her. Big Sky Demon sighed and said, "I underestimated Qin Xiu. I only wanted to sneak into the 33 skies and see what I could learn about Qin Xiu there, but he found me. I could hardly make it back. Qin Xiu is very scary. He is almost like the old leader." "What did you find there?" Han Sen asked. "I only snuck into the tower to learn more about Qin Xiu, but he almost killed me. What do you think I was able to find?" Big Sky Demon could see the disappointment on Han Sen's face. She smiled and said, "I saw many things that are called life souls inside that old tower." "How many were there?" Han Sen asked with a frown. "There were so many. I was only able to enter the old tower's first floor, but I saw 10 creatures being consumed by fate. I do not know if there are any more creatures up the tower." Big Sky Demon stopped smiling. She looked extremely serious. That number was something even Han Sen found to be scary. If every life soul could be someone scary like Zhao Ning'er, Qin Xiu would become an unrivaled force of power in the universe. Not even the god spirits of the Geno Hall would be able to fight back. "Do not worry. People like Zhao Ning'er are very rare amid the creatures that combine with life souls. So far, Zhao Ning'er is the only success. Big Sky Demon paused and said, Qin Xiu uses life souls to make breakworld beasts. If those creatures become breakworld beasts, their bodies will be made solid. They will be more powerful than breakworld elites. This is a method to evolve creatures that does not make much sense. There are lots of flaws involved with it, so it is unlikely to be a big success. Solidify breakworld powers? In the levels of breaking the world, what would that be ranked? Han Sen never figured out what the levels of breaking the world were. Big Sky Demon laughed. Breaking the worlds does not have levels. Breaking the world is breaking the world. It is just a term used to describe controlling the powers from both worlds. The strength is determined by how much you can control it. Ordinary breakworld people only need 1% to wield breakworld powers. That small amount is still considered enough to break the world. Some breakworld people can understand much more. After breaking the world, their understanding of the powers from both worlds can reach around 10%, such as yourself. I would guess that when you first broke the world, your breakworld rate was 15% to 20%. I see, Han Sen said. What is all this about it being made solid? When the breakworld rate reaches 30%, it is like water that becomes ice. It starts to thicken and become solid. That is just a way of describing it. It is not actually as simple as ice. Solid breakworld powers yield a lot of benefits. The powers are increased and much stronger than before they were solid. That is especially true regarding the rules to use power. Once they are solid, they are more useful. So making your breakworld powers solid is like a junction. Big Sky Demon paused and went on to say, there are junctions at 60% and 90%. Reaching 60% is incredibly rare. There were not even very many people able to do that when the God Chaos Party was popular. As for reaching 90%, this is even rarer. Since the God Chaos Party formed, only 3 vice presidents have reached that level. Are you telling me Berry Path God has a 90% breakworld rate? Han Sen did not believe it. Big Sky Demon rolled her eyes at Han Sr. Do you really think Berry Path God is that weak? That guy is very mysterious. If it was not in a life or death moment, you would never know how strong he truly was. He does not want to fight you. It is not because you are so strong. It is more because he does not want to reveal his true power. Besides, his main target is Qin Xiu, not you. I see, Han Sen said with a nod. He thought Berry Path God was powerful. He had not expected Berry Path Sky God to be hiding more about himself than he revealed. After the latest reboots, our breakworld rates were weakened in every way, Big Sky Demon said. Now, going back to the popular breakworld rates will not be easy. I think Berry Path God will now have only reached 90%. Remember, a breakworld rate does not equal one's battle power. All rates are capable of breaking the world. Actually, a low breakworld rate can often beat high breakworld rates. In a critical moment, it all depends on one's element and power. Your breakworld rate is not high, but your power is very strange. You also have more than one breakworld power. Even Berry Path God is afraid of you. That is why he does not want to fight you. Han Sen could not help but ask, has anyone been able to reach 100% with their breakworld powers? Big Sky Demon did not hesitate to respond. Yes. From what I know, no matter if it was before the universe was rebooted or now, only the God Chaos Party's leader managed to do that. What about Qin Xiu? That was the person Han Sen was most concerned about. Although he is strong, I think he is lacking something. He only needs to take one last step, but making that final step is extremely difficult for him. Big Sky Demon sighed and said, actually, compared to Qin Xiu, the life-soul breakworld beasts are scarier. We are creatures that have practiced all of our lives, yet it is very difficult for us to break the world. Plus, we only have breakworld rates ranging from 12% to 20%. If the breakworld beasts succeed, they have a 30% breakworld rate like Zhao Ning'er. I bet she is over 60%. Let me tell you, that is very scary. Did you see the fight earlier? Han Sen asked. Big Sky Demon nodded and said, if I had not seen that fight, I would not say breakworld beasts are scary. Now, Qin Xiu's skills haven't matured. When he can mass-produce those break-world beasts, that is when the greatest disaster will come. Han Sun strangely looked at Big Sky Demon. She had once been a part of God Chaos Party. Even if her relationship with the God Chaos Party had soured, she did not need to be this worried. Do not look at me like that, Big Sky Demon said. The big universe's disaster does not matter to me, but it might not be considered a good thing for you. I did not know you cared for me that much, Han Sun said with a curl of his lips. Big Sky Demon stretched and said, I can't help it. It is because you are Baoer's stepfather. It is fine if you die. If something happened to Baoer, that might not fare well. Do you know Baoer? Han Sun now understood why even though Big Sky Demon was so strong, she never did anything to him. It was because Big Sky Demon already knew about Baoer. I know her, Big Sky Demon confirmed. Who is she? Han Sun really wanted to know who was Baoer. She is Baoer. You are her stepfather, yet you don't know her name. Big Sky Demon looked as if she was smiling at Han Sun, but she wasn't smiling at him. You know that is not what I meant. Han Sun wanted to know who Baoer was in her past life. He had always wondered if Baoer, in her past life, was the leader of the God Chaos Party. Baoer is Baoer, Big Sky Demon seriously said. She is unique. She does not need anyone. She sounded so serious, but Han Sun thought her words were a load of rubbish. Anyway, do not let any other creatures learn about who Baoer really is. If that were to happen, you will be in big trouble. By the way, I am injured now. If you want to kill me, then kill me. If you do not want to kill me, then heal me. Your power should be good at this. Big Sky Demon leaned on Han Sun's shoulder. She lowered her clothes and revealed the wounds on her bones. She let him do whatever he wanted to. Chapter 3277 Paying rent. Despite her saying how bad of a state she was in, Han Sun did not underestimate Big Sky Demon. On her own, Big Sky Demon infiltrated God Chaos Party's hive. She managed to enter Qin Xiu's old tower. Despite having been caught, she was able to make it out alive with only a few injuries. That was very scary. He hesitated a little. Eventually, Han Sun said to Big Sky Demon, My power has not recovered. I cannot help you. I may be able to help you in a few days. In that case, I will sleep a little. I am really tired. Big Sky Demon slept on Han Sun's lap. Her cheeks were up against his chest. She closed her eyes and fell asleep. Han Sun still had Big Sky Demon's arms wrapped around his neck. He could only hold her. He frowned and said, If you want to sleep, find a bed. Why do you have to sleep on top of me? Big Sky Demon did not respond to him. It was like she was already in a deep sleep. Han Sun would not believe she was actually asleep. He lifted Big Sky Demon, planning on putting her down on a bench. Big Sky Demon's body suddenly became some magical light and vanished. At the same time, in Han Sun's brain, Big Sky Demon's voice said, We will meet inside your dreams. After a moment, Big Sky Demon's body was gone. It was as if she had never existed in the first place. Han Sun frowned. He could feel Big Sky Demon inside him, but he did not know where she was. He used his Dongxian aura, but he still could not detect where Big Sky Demon was. In the 33 skies, Berry Path God stood before the old tower. Did that really happen? Does Han Sun have the power to make break-world beasts evolve more perfectly? Qin Xiu's interested voice was coming out of the old tower. I witnessed Zhao Ning'er become a break-world armament. Berry Path God happily said. Her break-world rate is more than 60%. Her asking heart sound is special. Now, out of all the break-world beasts that have succeeded, she is the most successful out of them all. No one else can match her. That is interesting, Qin Xiu coldly said. That guy is more interesting than I thought. Mr. Leader, do you want me to send some God Chaos Party elites to kill Han Sun and take the break-world beast, Zhao Ning'er, away? In front of Qin Xiu, Berry Path God was very polite. I will sort that out myself, Qin Xiu said. You should just take care of the other test subjects and observe them. Berry Path God lowered his head. Zhao Ning'er is the most successful test subject. The information we can gain from her for furthering our research into break-world beasts will be invaluable. I do not like repeating myself more than once. Qin Xiu's cold voice sounded from the old tower. Yes. I will try my best to help you finish all these tests. Berry Path God replied in fear. He bowed. You can go now. Qin Xiu stood at the highest point of the old tower. After he told Berry Path God to go, he looked at a crystal bed. The blonde Qin Wanner was lying on the crystal bed. It was like she was waiting for a prince to come and kiss her to wake her from her slumber. Qin Xiu reached out his hand to stroke Qin Wanner's hair. He quietly said, Wanner, hold on a bit longer. All of the bad things will soon be gone. When you wake up again, it will have all been a terrible nightmare. You will once again be the happy and carefree Wanner. Suddenly, Qin Xiu's eyes had a weird light show in him. He could not help but clutch his head. He lowered his head and screamed like a beast. He did his best to try and not groan. A while later, Qin Xiu started to look more composed. His eyes looked calmer. He said to himself, what a scary man. He only has a will. He fought me for so long. I am better, but I cannot destroy it. I should be able to soon. I just need a little more time. When I control the armor, I will be able to give one of the happiness she deserves. I will not let her be sad. Han Sun had spent too much power. He could not rip space and return to Jade Wall City. Instead, he boarded a ship with Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiuyi. Fortunately, Zhao Ning'er had a concert to attend in the Han Kingdom. Han Sun followed Zhao Ning'er to the Han Kingdom. After the concert was finished, they were going to continue on to Jade Wall City. On the ship, time passed by very slowly. There was not much Han Sun could do. It was best for him to use Geno arts to recover the strength he had lost. So he went to sleep. He let his body tune itself back into the best shape possible. When Han Sun went to sleep, he noticed he was in jail. His limbs were tied up, and he was bound in a crucified position. Big Sky Demon was sitting in front of him. She was holding a whip and smiling at him. Han Sun froze. He now understood things. He looked at Big Sky Demon and asked, can you control someone's dreams? This is an easy trick of mine. I am injured, so I need to use your dreamscapes if I am to rest a little. You will not reject my presence here, will you? Big Sky Demon crossed her legs and sat on a chair. She looked at Han Sun and smiled. I did not agree to your presence here, but you've made yourself comfy here all the same, Han Sun said. He was a little upset. Big Sky Demon stood up and walked up to Han Senator. She used her fingers to tilt his jaw. In a seductive tone of voice she said, do not say that. I will pay you rent. What kind of rent? Han Sun tried to control his current dreamscape, but he couldn't do anything. It was like all his powers were gone. Big Sky Demon's fingers applied some strength to force Han Sun to lift up his head. Her bright red lips came closer to him. Big Sky Demon's red lips were almost going to touch Han Sun's lips, but she slid away past his cheeks. She put them near his ears and said, you will find the rent I pay to be the most enjoyable. After that, Big Sky Demon backed off. The scene cracked when Big Sky Demon left. The jail's wall fell away. The environment became empty. Han Sun saw sword air come from the sky. That sword air was not too fast, but it also wasn't too slow. It was not jittery, but it wasn't smooth. It gave Han Sun a sort of pressure that words could not describe. It was like that sword was able to break his past life. Before 10 million years of lives, it was like he would be killed by that sword. Using his power, Han Sun changed his reaction. He knew that sword was in a dream, so it was nothing to fear. Yet, that sword was actually bending his will. Han Sun had seen many elites use swords. Six Paths Emperor, Lone Bamboo, and Jianbugu were all top-class swordsmen, but he had never seen a sword this scary before. He knew that sword was just the illusion of one, but Han Sun felt cold. His mind shifted. As it came down to slash his body, the sword air made him feel as if he was going to die. This is the slash Qin Xiu used to strike me with, Big Sky Demon said with a smile. If you are interested, I can help you feel it a few more times. You should be happy with this rent I pay you. Chapter 3278 Meeting a Life Soul Again. The scary sword air kept slashing Han Senator. Although this was all taking place inside his dreams, it made Han Sun feel physically damaged. If it was a creature with a weak will undergoing this, even in a dream, their will would be totally broken. They would never wake up, and their body would die. They would be rendered vegetables. From these sword strikes, Han Sun could gain an understanding of how scary of a foe Qin Xiu was. Big Sky Demon told him this was just a random strike from Qin Xiu. A random strike from him was like the striking of the best swordsman in history. Han Sun did not know how strong Qin Xiu might be if he was to become serious. It looks like it is not just power I need to improve. It looks like I need to train my will as well. Han Sun closed his eyes. He kept trying to feel how scary the sword mind was. Fear could not solve anything. Only deep into fear, where one could understand that fear, could one stop that fear. Han Sun understood that the sword he saw was just a product of his imagination conjured by Big Sky Demon in his dream. Fighting the real Qin Xiu would be even worse. When Han Sun awoke from the dream, he did not know how many times he had endured that sword. He now understood the sword mind. If Han Sun used that sword, he still would not be able to reach Qin Xiu's level. It was not that Han Sun's level was not high enough. It was just that he and Qin Xiu were different. That sword was Qin Xiu's sword. Aside from Qin Xiu, no one else could slash with that sort of sword power. That was because the universe could not produce another Qin Xiu. Han Sun did not plan on learning how to be just like Qin Xiu. So he spent time thinking about how he might break that sword. Zhao Qiuyi woke Han Sun up. They had already reached the capital of the Han Kingdom. Zhao Ning'er needed to be there for another 2 days. After the tour was over, they could then push on straight to the Qin Kingdom. Han Sun and Zhao Qiuyi disguised themselves as servants. They followed Zhao Ning'er to depart the ship. They knew Zhao Ning'er was very famous in the universe of kingdoms, but it was ridiculous to see how the Han people welcomed her arrival. It was not just ordinary fans showing up. Even many nobles and royals came forth to welcome her. Even the queen arrived to greet her arrival. When Han Sun looked at one of them, he was given a fright. There was a young man who was 15 or 16 years old. He looked ordinary, but he was dressed like a noble. There was an 80% to 90% chance that he was the son of a noble. Han Sun saw the young man's face and noticed how familiar he looked. It was like he had seen him someplace before. Even with his memory, if he saw the young man, he would not recognize him. Han Sun observed the young man for a bit. He finally understood why the young man looked familiar. Han Sun thought, this guy looks like Sky King from the sanctuaries, but he looked young. He did not look as mature as Sky King. Sky King was kind of like Situ Xiang. He was one of Ancient Devil's 8 generals. He was the leader of the 8 generals. Back then, Han Sun took Sky King and put him and Yuxia into the cruel bottle. When Han Sun leveled up, he never brought the bottle with him. He left it for Zero. Han Sun had not seen Sky King ever since. He had forgotten all about him. After seeing the young man who looked like Sky King, all of it returned to him. Did Sky King reincarnate? Han Sun wondered. Unfortunately, he could not go back to the Geno universe to find out. Otherwise, he could quickly ask Zero if Sky King was still inside the cruel bottle or not. If he really was Sky King's reincarnated form, it would not affect Han Senator so. He really did not care about it. It was Ancient Devil, who had escaped, that worried Han Sun a great deal. He did not know what Ancient Devil planned on doing after he escaped. That man would not remain with a low profile. God only knew when he would be able to stir up a storm. As Han Sun was thinking, he looked past the young man who looked like Sky King. He suddenly looked back and glanced at the young man again. The young man had some sort of presence. Han Sun looked at that presence twice and noticed it was the same as Chu Yuan and Zhao Ning'er had. Life soul. That young man has a life soul. Han Sun's gaze was like that of a spotlight. He looked at the young man and saw that he possessed the presence of a life soul. Obviously, that young man was another one of Qin Xiu's test subjects. Han Sun frowned and thought, he is another young man Qin Xiu selected to be a test subject. It looks like they are all young men. I do not know if it is merely a coincidence that this test subject looks like Sky King or not, but it is a shame that I cannot ask Zero. Han Sun kept looking at the young man. The young man eventually noticed Han Sun was watching him. He turned his attention toward Han Senator although he was just a young man. His gaze was very strong and intense. When he looked at people, it was like he was looking at someone lower than he was. Han Sun always saw that sort of attitude in Sky King. Now, Han Sun really did think the young man was Sky King reincarnated. Seeing Han Sun and the young man look at each other, Zhao Qiuyi tugged Han Sun's sleeve and said, "Those people there are the Han Kingdom royals." Han Sun looked at Zhao Qiuyi and asked, "Do you know who that young man is?" Zhao Qiuyi looked in that direction and nodded. "I do not know much about the royals of the Han Kingdom, but I do know who that young man is." "Oh, that must mean he is famous," Han Sun said. "Is he a prince of the Han Kingdom?" Zhao Qiuyi shook her head and laughed. "No, but he is something like that. He is the Han Kingdom's Moonwool Princess's future husband. His name is Lin Jin. I have heard he is a commoner genius. When he was born, there was a god tree weird scene. That weird scene covered the sky. A few systems were able to witness it. The Han King saw the scene and sent for some royals to whip up a prophecy about him. Between the Han Kingdom and the Qin Kingdom, they discovered Lin Jin, who had just been born on that planet. They took him to the palace and decided he should marry Moonwool Princess. Because he grew up in the palace, he practically became the Han King's son." Han Sen's heart jumped as he asked, "What was that god tree weird scene?" Back in the day, Sky King lived in Sky Tree. Han Sun still remembered Sky King's power was called 33 Skies Power. If that Lin Jin is indeed Sky King, what does it mean that Qin Xiu selected him to become a life soul test subject? Han Sun thought this was rather suspicious. Zhao Qiuyi thought for a moment and shook her head. "I do not know. That is all I have heard. You cannot really record a weird scene unless you see it for yourself. No one can know what a weird scene is actually like." Han Sun looked at Lin Jin. He was interested in him. Chapter 3279 Ancient Devil's Identity. Zhao Ning'er had become a break-world beast. Her power had become very strong because of that. Her sonic power was scary. Even if she did not deliberately use power and just casually sang, she sounded very magical. Her performances easily affected the hearts of people. She had a concert in a venue that had the capacity to fit 1 million people. The entire place was full. Many people wanted to buy tickets, but they were unable to. That alone signaled how attractive Zhao Ning'er was. Han Sun sat in a VIP seat Zhao Ning'er reserved for privileged guests. He listened to Zhao Ning'er sing. He had to confess that listening to Zhao Ning'er was indeed an enjoyable experience. Dong, dong, dong. The concert had only just started when someone knocked on the door. Why would someone be here at this time? Han Sun frowned. The only people he knew there were Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiuyi. Zhao Ning'er was on stage, and Zhao Qiuyi was in the same room as him. Therefore, who could have knocked on the door? Zhao Qiuyi got up off the couch and opened the door. She looked surprised when she saw the person outside who had come to visit. Even Han Sun was surprised by the visitor. The person was Lin Jin. Zhao Qiuyi lowered her head and asked, "Is there something you need?" "I would like to talk with Han Sun in private for a bit." Lin Jin looked past Zhao Qiuyi as he addressed her. He looked straight at Han Sr. "Let him in." Han Sun said to Zhao Qiuyi, who was looking a little bit scared. Zhao Qiuyi stepped aside. She allowed Lin Jin to enter the room and closed the door behind him. "Do you know who I am?" Han Sun looked at Lin Jin with interest. "You are the Qin Kingdom's #1 swordsman," Lin Jin coldly said. "You are a scary man that broke Jade Wall City. I do not think many people would not know you. But I know Han Sun is not from the Qin Kingdom. He is a man from the sanctuaries." Han Sun looked surprised. Lin Jin smiled and said, "Han Sun, can we talk in private now?" "Qiuyi, why don't you go outside for a bit?" Han Sun suggested to Zhao Qiuyi. Zhao Qiuyi left. Han Sun looked at Lin Jin and asked, "Who are you?" Lin Jin walked next to Han Sun and sat down. "Even if you have forgotten who I, Sky King, am, you will not have forgotten who my daughter, Qin Jun, was." "Sky King, when did you escape the cruel bottle?" When Han Sun heard that, he knew for sure that there was an 80% to 90% chance that this young man was the reincarnation of Sky King. Not many people knew Sky King's daughter was Qin Jun. No one in the universe of kingdoms would have known that. Aside from him being a true reincarnation, there was no other explanation for it. "I did not escape," Lin Jin said. In fact, I chose death. I died in a special way. After being reincarnated, I held on to the memories of my past life. That is not easy to do. How did you manage that? Hansen knew reincarnation required the Geno Hall. It should have been impossible for a soul to maintain its memories. I am special, Lin Jin said. We can at least say the souls of the 8 generals are special. There is, however, something I do not understand. After I reincarnated, I understood the switches between the 2 worlds. After I received a life soul, I was able to understand something further. Hansen looked at Lin Jin and asked, "What is it?" Ancient Devil might be like me and was able to retain his past memories. Finding the 8 of us from the sanctuary cannot be a coincidence. He had it all planned. It is more likely that he brought us here to kill a god. He had it planned all along. In the end, Azura betrayed him, so the plan failed. Hansen always wondered where Ancient Devil was born. Sky King's thought process made sense to him. What did the god you guys killed back then look like? Hansen had been very curious about this for a long time. Even now, he did not know which god was the one Azura consumed. I do not know. I only know Ancient Devil found the 8 of us and used our powers to summon a living creature. When that creature appeared before us, it was dying. Even Ancient Devil was surprised by that. He did not expect the god he summoned would look the way it did. Now that I think about it, even though it was a dying god, it still took us a while to kill it. If it was an ordinary god or one that was injured instead of dying, we might have been unable to kill the god. Sky King did not continue talking, but Hansen knew what he meant. If Ancient Devil knew the god he had summoned was powerful, then his purpose to summon that god was not for killing him. Hansen looked at Sky King and said, "You didn't come looking for me just to tell me this." Sky King sighed. "If I did not have to, I would not come looking for you. The memories of my past life were sealed during my reincarnation. Without the accident, even if I reincarnated again, those memories will be hard to claim. The life soul the god Chaos Party opened me up to the memories of my past life. That way, I was able to learn about it." After pausing, Sky King went on to say, "Things like life souls are things the god Chaos Party has under control. Even if I finished combining things now, I would still be controlled by the god Chaos Party. Perhaps you can help me." "Why would I want to help you?" Hansen asked with a lift of his lips. He and Sky King were never friends. In the past life, they were enemies. Even without those circumstances, there was no reason for him to help Sky King. "I do not know what kind of creature Ancient Devil summoned, but I do know a secret about Ancient Devil," Sky King said with a smile. "If you can free me from the god Chaos Party, I can tell you a secret you will be interested in learning more about." "What secret? Let me hear it." Hansen did not believe Sky King. Sky King did not deny his request. He smiled and said, "I discovered this secret shortly after I got my memories back. It has something to do with the god Chaos Party. You are going to love it." Hansen did not think it would surprise him, but he paused for a long time before saying, "I can help you to the best of my abilities, but I must know the secret first." Sky King quickly answered, "I went to the god Chaos Party and saw something interesting there. There was an old painting. That painting displayed the god Chaos Party's old leader, his 3 vice presidents, and other primary members. There were 4 core members of the god Chaos Party. I recognized 2 of them. One of them was Berry Path God. The other one was..." Sky King paused on purpose. Hansen asked, "Was it Ancient Devil?" Sky King nodded. "Yes. The vice president in the painting was Ancient Devil. It had to be him." Ancient Devil was a vice president of the god Chaos Party. Hansen frowned. Chapter 3280 Sky King. Hansen looked at Sky King and asked, "How do you want me to help you?" Sky King seemed to have prepared everything. After hearing Hansen ask that, he replied, "The life souls connect to a soul candle. If the soul candle burns out, then a life soul will return. I have combined with a life soul. If a life soul returns, it means I return too. The best way is to get the soul candle and put it in my hands, but it will be difficult. Qin Xiu has most of the soul candles. It will even be hard for you to get it. Han Sen calmly listened to the man. He did not plan on interrupting him. Unless he had come completely prepared, Sky King would not have come looking for him. To get the soul candle from Qin Xiu might seem impossible, but I have given the idea a lot of thought, Sky King said. As a result, I have found a way that might work. This method, however, might prove risky too. I will need your help to accomplish it. Tell me, Han Sen said. Sky King did not hesitate. He spoke what was on his mind. From my investigations, it turns out the relation between a soul candle and a life soul is like the relation between a puppet and its wires. If they are used well, and you have enough power, you can cut the connection between the two. I have tried many methods to do this, but I have been unsuccessful in cutting the cords. Perhaps the power I control can't even touch the wires. Han Sen looked at Sky King and asked, "Do you think my power can do what yours cannot?" Sky King nodded. He then shook his head and said, "I don't know. You are different. Your powers have always been magical. You have a power that defies expectations. You're unpredictable and use your reincarnated body. You are very unique, so I think you can certainly give it a try. Having hope is better than having no hope." Han Sen thought of Berry Path God holding the gene egg. That gene egg had a burning candle inside, so it must have been a soul candle. What is a life soul? Han Sen wanted to get some answers from Sky King. Sky King shook his head. "I do not know what a life soul is. They have the features of a gene race, but they are different. They are kind of like the beast souls used by humans in the sanctuaries. Again, they are different. After combining with a life soul, both my body and soul will level up in some way. Otherwise, I would not have unsealed my past memories had I not done this." "When do we do this?" Han Sen asked. "When you do it, you must use all your power. That is the only way it will work. We cannot be interrupted during this process. I feel like God Chaos Party members are spying on me, so I need to get rid of them. When are you leaving this place? Give me a time and place, and I will get rid of those guards and come look for you." Han Sen shook his head. "You have a life soul, and they have your soul candle. I do not think losing them will work for you." "I only need a little bit of time," Sky King said. "When they catch up, our side should bear a result." Han Sen did not say anything. He established a time and place to meet with him. Afterward, Sky King departed. Zhao Ning'er's concert was a grand success. She declined the requests of the Han Kingdom nobles to stay behind. She got on a ship and left the Han Kingdom. "Big sister, with your power, you are like the singing queen," Zhao Qiui merrily said to Zhao Ning'er. "I am afraid that even if Zhong Liqing came back to life, he would not be as good as you." Zhao Ning'er shook her head. "When it comes to the comparison of power, maybe I am no worse than the singing king. When it comes to the knowledge of songs and feelings, I am not as good as the singing king." Zhao Ning'er really respected the singing king. She did not underestimate the singing king just because she was getting better. Han Sen was not in the mood to listen to them talk. They had already come to the system between the Han Kingdom and the Qin Kingdom. This was the place where Han Sen and Sky King planned to meet. Ever since he met with Sky King, Han Sen had been a bit nervous. He could not tell why, but he just felt like this entire thing would yield him a lot of trouble. He did not think Sky King's plan would go according to plan. "Zhao Ning'er, if Lin Jin comes and God Chaos Party people show up, take Zhao Qiui to Jade Wall City's Feng family castle. Do that before you do anything else." Han Sen told the sisters about Lin Jin's plan to meet with him, but he did not tell them about Lin Jin being Sky King in a past life. He only told them Lin Jin was like Zhao Ning'er, and that he was a life soul test subject. Okay. Zhao Ning'er could tell Han Sen was not being his usual self, but she did not be nosy or pry into the specifics. Suddenly Han Sen felt the arrival of a weird power. The ship's door opened up, and Sky King entered. The door quickly closed. Sky King walked in front of Han Sen and said, "Time is almost up. Let's go now." Han Sen nodded. He gathered up his reverse Dongxian Sutra power and forced himself to break the world. He cast the Dongxian aura and peered into Sky King's body structure. He wanted to find out the connection between the life soul and soul candle. After looking closer, Han Sen was able to see something on it. Sky King's body structure was not like an ordinary human's. His body had many weird substances. The substances went against the substance structures of an ordinary human. What was even stranger was that Han Sun discovered a weird substance releasing a strange, small presence. The presence was seamless and tasteless. It did not move either. It was very weak, so it was hard to find. Han Sun used his Dongxian aura, but he could only see it as if it was there but not there. When the presence left Sky King's body, it went out into space and vanished. It was just gone. The endless air kept spreading. Han Sun knew the presence was the connection between the life soul and soul candle. If he cut it, he might end up cutting the connection between the life soul and soul candle. Cutting the presence was not easy. Most of the substances in Sky King's body had this presence. To cut it completely, he had to cut out all of the presence from the substances. Han Sun tried to use Super Spank and break one substance presence. It made Han Sun think it was easier than he initially expected things to be. The presence was tough, but Super Spank was still strong enough to break it. After breaking the presence, the weird substance stopped releasing air. You really did not disappoint me. Sky King felt the wires that bound him get cut off. He laughed. Han Sun was not in the mood to join in with the laughing. He focused his power on hitting Sky King. He cut many presences out. At this time, the ship moved. It had clearly been affected by some powerful power. What is this? Zhao Qiui looked at the monitors on the ship. Her eyes opened wide as she screamed. Chapter 3281 God Chaos Party assault. A big electric storm was brewing in the space around them. All kinds of colors flowed, veiling the sky. A ship crew member ran into the room. He looked shocked as he shouted, "Mister, this is bad. We have encountered a giant magnetic storm. The ship is losing control." Before he finished his words, the ship's lights turned off. The ship was dark. They then felt the ship go sideways. Normally, a ship had a gravity system. Even if the ship flipped, a place like a cabin would still enable them to keep their balance. The gravity wouldn't be changed. Han Sun felt that the ship was sliding. It meant the ship had a big problem. The gravity was no longer working. The light was quickly in their eyes again. Outside the ship, the magnetic storm was so bright that it was like a window. The colorful lights went past the crystal-like windows. The inside of the ship was now a vibrant shade of hues. They were so bright that people could be blinded. No matter if it was darkness or strong light, Han Sun would not lose his vision. Through the crystal windows, Han Sun saw the light substance was a creature. It looked like a god dragon. Its body was traveling between the substances, but it showed a part of its body. Break World Beast. Han Sun saw the creature's presence and recognized what it was. It is coming in fast. Sky King frowned. He thought he had lost the one tailing him, and would have had more time. He did not expect a Break World Beast to come back so quickly. Han Sun had only just begun. Half of his presence had yet to be cut off. Let's just run. Han Sun used the Dongxian aura to shield the ship. He wanted to use galaxy teleportation alongside the entire ship. Han Sun quickly noticed that the space there was weird. It was like it was being cut by some strange power. He could not teleport. Zhao Ning'er's body displayed some weird notes. Her wings spread as she let out a roar. The sonic sound shook the storm away. But there were still a lot of storms raging around them. Roar. A dragon's moan pierced the universe. It went against Zhao Ning'er's voice, making her voice weaker. Zhao Ning'er raised her eyebrows. She prepared to use her asking heart sounds. Before she spoke, the substance storm started to fade. The ship drove away from the substance storm, but they were no longer in the same system. They had entered a place that had weapons in every direction. Soldier Knife Sky. Han Sun and Sky King's faces changed. The whole ship had been taken to the first of the 33 skies. Han Sun and the others saw the weapon forest from above. There was a giant, dragon-looking creature hanging there. Its body was wreathed in electricity, and it glowed with a strange rainbow hue. The substance storm must have been created by that creature. The draconic creatures had looked like a monster. It had long, red hair and 3 eyes. Its body was inside a shell. It looked like a man, but it was not a man. It looked like a bug, but it was not a bug. The weird man stood atop the rainbow god dragon's head. He strangely said, Han-san, there is a way to heaven you are not walking on. Hell does not have a door, but you are knocking. To be an enemy of the god Chaos Party makes you a very dead man. Do you know how dead you are? Ning'er, protect Chio-e and the ship. Han-san flashed away and flew out of the ship. I am going with you. Sky King flashed and went into the sky. So, do you mind telling me what your name? And if you would be so kind, which position do you hold in the god Chaos Party that you serve? Han-san did not start fighting just yet. He merely asked the weird man those questions. The rainbow god dragon was a breakworld beast, but the weird man was not a breakworld beast. I am God Chaos Party's leader Shoot Shadow, the weird man proudly answered. Why are you blocking my way? Han-san asked with a smile. He smiled like an innocent bystander. If it was not for our leader having a big belly, he would have dealt with you already. You should have died a long time ago. Now, you have been interfering in the God Chaos Party's testing scheme. We will not permit you to live a second later. Go and die. Shoot Shadow spoke very grimly. He touched the rainbow god dragon's dragon horns. The rainbow god dragon rolled up its body. The rainbow-like substance went everywhere across the land. Han-san could no longer see. Sky King looked cold. His body had a weird power arise, but he did not go to attack the substance that was everywhere. While Han-san wondered what Sky King was going to do, many weapons suddenly started to moan. In the next second, countless weapons broke space and arose. They did so like rain in reverse. They came up from the ground, ripping the substance in the sky. Han-san looked at the sky, which was full of weapons no matter where one looked. He was given a shock. These were the soldier knife sky weapons. The place had countless weapons available for Sky King, and they exploded with scary power. They kept striking the substance storm. Many weapons were destroyed by the substances, but more weapons broke space and came for them. It was like their stream was endless. The substance storm became weaker. Sky King can control soldier knife sky's gene weapon gene races. Han-san felt weird. Han-san helped Zhao Ning'er escape the clutch of the God Chaos Party. The God Chaos Party had yet to do anything but touch Sky King's life soul. The God Chaos Party immediately sent an old leader and a breakworld beast after him. That meant Sky King had to be important to the God Chaos Party. He was likely more important than Zhao Ning'er. Sky King was able to control the weapons that populated Soldier Knife Sky. It made Han-san wonder whether or not Sky King's soul was special. In his past life, he was one of the 8 generals of Ancient Devil. His identity was shocking. He might have even had a connection to the 33 skies. If that was not the case, it would be hard to explain how Sky King had the ability to control the weapon gene races that populated Soldier Knife Sky. In his past life, his strongest power was called 3-3 Sky Power. The chances were slim for that to be a coincidence. The substance storm was gone. The Rainbow God Dragon and Shoot Shadow's body showed up again. You do not have what it takes to kill us yet. If you want to kill us, you'd best go and ask Qin Xiu for help. Sky King looked at Shoot Shadow. Countless weapons were aimed at Shoot Shadow and the Rainbow God Dragon. It seemed that if Sky King used his mind, he could tear their bodies to shreds. Shoot Shadow was not afraid at all. It was like he knew this was going to happen. Lin Jin, I am afraid you have become cocky way too soon, Shoot Shadow coldly said. He suddenly held the Rainbow God Dragon's head. He looked evil and weirdly screamed, "Come on! Lightstream, let them witness your true break world beast power." With the roaring sounds of Shoot Shadow, the Rainbow God Dragon's body flashed. It turned into a Lightstream Dragon Spear that was in Shoot Shadow's hands. Chapter 3282 Lightstream Dragon Spear. Sky King looked frozen. The presence of the Lightstream Dragon Spear made his heart jump. It was a sign that he felt a sense of danger. After all, Sky King used to be a very strong and powerful person. The moment his heart jumped, he decided he needed to strike first. He was going to suppress Shoot Shadow. Sky King had only lived this life for 10 years and had not done much, but he had recently received his life soul and got the memories of his past life back. Although he had not brought over many skills to the universe of kingdoms, his life soul was his main battle power. He was different from Zhao Ning'er. Sky King had not completely combined with his life soul yet. The Light Stream Dragon Spear also had not done that either. He was at about the same level as Chu Yuan. He was a beginner break world person. A shadow that looked like a demon was behind Sky King. It turned into an empty shadow that was burning him. Suddenly, it made him break the world. His body went through many layers that weirdly showed up on Shoot Shadow. He stepped on Shoot Shadow's horns. "You are too slow," Shoot Shadow coldly grunted. Somehow, the Light Stream Dragon Spear had already risen up. It was going toward Sky King's feet. Sky King's feet were pierced. His entire body turned into a shadow. At the same time, another Sky King shadow appeared behind Shoot Shadow. A hand burning with fire silently went for Shoot Shadow's heart from the back. What a scary man. It is no wonder he is the reincarnation of that man. You almost fooled me, but it is a shame that your power is too weak. Sky King's hand was going to strike. Shoot Shadow looked back. His eyes flashed with an evil light. Although it seemed impossible, the Light Stream Dragon Spear suddenly appeared in front of Sky King. The spear struck his hand. Sky King knew he was unable to avoid it, so he stopped hesitating. A scary power exploded in his hands. He struck the power coming from the Light Stream Dragon Spear. He thought there would be a scary shockwave explosion. After the two powers struck each other, not a sound was made. Sky King's hand was sucked onto the Light Stream Dragon Spear. The weirdest part was that Sky King's body glowed with light. It was like he was turning into light. Sky King seemed as if he wanted to move his body, but he could not get it to work. It was like he had lost control of his body. He kept shaking. Suddenly Sky King roared. All the weapons of Soldier Knife Sky arose like a flood to cover the sky and the ground. They were all going for Shoot Shadow. Shoot Shadow's face did not change. He raised his hand. The Light Stream Dragon Spear blocked a few of the weapons in front of him, but the weapons then became like Sky King. They were sucked onto the Light Stream Dragon Spear. In the next moment, something even more strange happened. No matter how many more weapons came, when they touched the Dragon Spear, they were sucked onto it. Those weapons would then suck other weapons onto them. In a moment, after countless weapon gene races were sucked onto the spear, they started looking like a spider web. They were all shaking and unable to escape. They could not pose a threat to Shoot Shadow. "It is futile," Shoot Shadow said with a laugh. "If you have been sucked in by the Dragon Spear's power, you cannot escape. No creature can escape the spear's power. If it wasn't for the leader needing you alive, you would already be a dead man." Han Sun looked at Sky King's face. He knew he did not have the power to escape. He pulled out his inch gray sword and used his Dongxian Sutra's break world power. Shoot Shadow looked at Han Sen's sword. He curled his lips and said, "Mr. Elder's sword is indestructible. It is a shame its owner is no longer the leader these days. It does not matter who owns it. As long as it can kill people, I reckon it's a good sword." Han Sun drew the sword and slashed. He used his super spank power. The Light Stream Dragon Spear power was weird. Han Sun did not want to waste any chances. He wanted to kill Shoot Shadow with one hit and be done with him. Shoot Shadow waved his Light Stream Dragon Spear. The spiderweb-like composition of weapons started to move. They blocked the inch gray sword. Catcha! The super spank power gathered up sword air. It instantly destroyed the wall of gene race weapons. Like it was cleaving through a forest of bamboo. It went forth to strike Shoot Shadow. Shoot Shadow raised his spear to fight. The inch gray sword struck the long spear's pole. The very powerful pole, which looked like it was clad in dragon scales, was cut by the inch gray sword but did not snap. Almost at the same time, Han Sun felt a weird power surge through the inch gray sword. It made his body very soft and numb. He was getting sucked toward the spear. The power inside him became light. It was going away. It gathered on the Light Stream Dragon Spear. Shoot Shadow was surprised by this too. Upon seeing the Light Stream Dragon Spears wound, he felt relieved. It made him weirdly laugh. "Fortunately, you can't fully use the power of the inch gray sword. If you could, that would have been quite dangerous for me. Right now, it seems as if your life is in my hands. If I want you to live, you will live. If I want you to die, you will die." Mr. Elder only wanted Lin Jin alive. He did not say anything about keeping you alive. Han Sen was not in the mood to listen to that man's crap. He gathered up power to try and get away from the dragon spear's weird force of suction. The more he struggled, the harder it sucked him in. The more power he used, the number his body felt. His power was going away. Han Sen used the Blood, Pulse Sutra and the Dongxian Sutra's break-world powers. There was no point in doing so. It just led to more power abandoning him. Stop squirming. Trying to resist is useless. Any life force that touches the light stream dragon spear will get all of its power sucked dry. The stronger your energy is, the better it will be for the dragon spear. It will only become stronger. Although the dragon spear only has a 36% break world rating, even if a break world elite with a 60% break world rating touched it, they would not be able to escape its power. Shoot Shadow weirdly laughed and asked, "Why don't you just wait here and let it suck you dry?" Han Sen frowned and did not speak. He thought, using the Dongxian Sutra's super spank to attack dealt good damage to the light stream dragon spear. That means the Dongxian Sutra power can destroy the dragon spear's power. After touching the dragon spear, the sword feels like it has been glued to it. I cannot use my power. If the Dongxian Sutra power was stronger, perhaps I could snap the dragon spear with a god weapon. Han Sen used the Dongxian Sutra's break-world power to the max. Despite that, he could not escape the sucking power of the dragon spear. If I could use my Dongxian Sutra's break-world power at 30% and make it solid, it should not be difficult to break the dragon spear. What will I have to do to get the Dongxian Sutra's break-world power to operate at 30%? Han Sen was annoyed. The Dongxian Sutra had only just broken the world. He wanted to get it to 30%, but doing that was very difficult. Chapter 3283 Violent Suppression. Getting locked on by the dragon spear's power is something not even a real god spirit can escape. You should just concede. Shoot Shadow used one hand to hold the dragon spear. The other hand generated a weird, dark power. The dark shadow-looking power did not come from the dragon spear. It was Shoot Shadow's break-world power. Back in the day, the God Chaos Party and the God Spirits had separated. They even forced the last Geno Hall leader to reboot the universe. That alone showed how scary the God Chaos Party was. Elites that were able to survive a reboot were all scary existences. Although their powers could not be restored to their greatest condition, they were not likely ordinary creatures. Shoot Shadow's hands lunged out to grab Han Sen, whose power was stuck to the light stream dragon spear. He could not use his hands to block him. Shoot Shadow's black flame-wreathed hand did not attack Han Sen. No power landed on Han Sen either, but his neck was delivered 5 fingerprints. It was like someone had tried to throttle his neck. If one looked at Han Sen's shadow, one saw a black-armed shadow grabbing his neck. You defeated Berry Path God. I thought you were someone great, yet this is all you have been able to do. Berry Path God is really becoming quite useless now. Shoot Shadow's hands looked like they were clutching nothing, but Han Sen's neck looked like it had been grabbed by an invisible hand. His skin was starting to cave in. I am not a cool person, Han Sen coldly said. His body turned into an ice jade color. His hair looked like ice coming down. His skin was like snow. He looked really holy. Even his face started to change. His facial structure was very clear and well defined, but it didn't appear feminine. His entire body released a holy light. It was like some holy god had walked out of a snow world. Upon seeing Han Sen in such a condition, even Zhao Ning'er, who was on the ship, felt a bit ashamed. It made her wonder how someone so holy-looking could exist. Shoot Shadow coldly laughed, but his laughter quickly disappeared. Han Sen's body released a holy light that made his shadow fade. It was then expunged. How is that possible? Shoot Shadow Elder screamed. He looked at Han Sen in a state of shock. How can such pure power exist in this world? Even the Black Shadow cannot accompany it. Even the main god of the 12 annihilation classes, Light God, can't be that pure. His power enabled him to control the shadows of the world. Now Han Sen's body was too holy to even cast a shadow. It made Shoot Shadow's power completely vanish. If there is no light, there is no darkness. Light and dark are two sides of the same coin. Light God is not holy. Do you not understand that? Han Sen looked at Shoot Shadow Elder calmly. The hand holding the inch gray sword started to brim with power. The Jade Skin in Break World mode created a scary body power. With the Break World power of the Dongxian Sutra and Blood Pulse Sutra, the three Break World powers ran in tandem with each other. It took Han Sen to another level. Catcha. Previously, he had been shut down by the Dragon Spear. The inch gray sword, which had been unable to move, started to move again. It pushed the spear's shaft away. The spear's shaft was delivered a crack. Han Sen's Break World power was not solidified, but three Break World powers created a pool of power that was big enough to suppress his opposition. Although the Dragon Spear's power was already solid, it was not enough to combat Han Senator. It did not depend on the inch gray sword's sharpness or require a powerful force of impact. It was just a pure crush of power. A sharp sword easily cut wood. A hammer easily broke stone slates. If the sword just touched the wood, it was difficult to leave a mark on it. If the hammer was set on a stone slate, it was unlikely it would be damaged. Han Sen was using absolute power. He was like a giant compactor machine that could crush everything. Impossible. Your Break World power is not solid yet. How can you have such a powerful power? How is that possible? Shoot Shadow watched the dragon spear be broken by the inch gray sword. He was very shocked. Although the Break World rating did not accurately define the differences in absolute powers, when the dragon spear's power clamped down, not even something that had a Break World rating greater than the dragon spear could escape its grasp or deal damage to it. Yet Han Sen had been able to suppress it. How scary was that power? Shoot Shadow only used one hand to grab the dragon spear. Now he had to clutch the dragon spear with both hands. He pushed all of his power into the dragon spear to fight Han Senator. Even so, Shoot Shadow's hands were crushed. The cracks in the shaft were becoming more severe. The inch gray sword's blade pushed deeper. Half of the shaft was cut through. In the 33rd sky, Berry Path God and many other members of the God Chaos Party were watching this fight unfold. A scary creature said, "It looks like Shoot Shadow is going to die. Should we go and help him?" "Why would we help him?" another creature asked. "He gave up and decided to support Qin Xiao. It is beneficial for us if he dies here." "You cannot say that. After all, this is the 33rd sky. If Shoot Shadow is killed here, it is still a grand shame for us." The scary creature hesitantly added, "Plus, if we do not save Shoot Shadow, things will become too obvious. Qin Xiao will not use us anymore. It will be harder for us to accomplish things. What do you think, Berry Path God?" All of the scary creatures looked at Berry Path God. Berry Path God looked at the video stream playing in a mirror. He coldly said, "It is only just Shoot Shadow. His death won't matter to us, but I am interested in Lin Jin. Although Qin Xiao gave us the same amount of life souls, it seems fair. I always thought the life souls they had were different from the life souls we have." After pausing, Berry Path God looked at Sky King and went on to say, "Plus, after Zhao Ning'er's incident, Qin Xiao did not even bat an eyelid. Now, with something happening to Lin Jin, Qin Xiao was willing to send out Shoot Shadow and the Stream Light Dragon Spear. Do you not think that is rather odd?" A scary creature thought, "Berry Path God is right. This is so weird. Does Qin Xiao not trust us? Is that why he gave us weaker life souls? I want to know the answer to this too." Berry Path God looked at Sky King. "Catcha." The inch gray sword split the dragon spear in two. The light stream dragon beast that had become a dragon spear was broken. Its power went back to Shoot Shadow. When the dragon spear broke, the dragon spear that had snatched all the weapons and Sky King let all of its captives go free. A voice played in Han Sen's head. It was an acoustic he had not heard in a long time. "Break World Beast hunted. Light Stream God Dragon. Got Light Stream God Dragon Beast Soul. Got Break World Gene." Chapter 3284 One Sword Power. A crystal shaped like a tear fell out of the broken dragon spear. Han Sen grabbed the crystal while he kept slashing at Shoot Shadow with the inch gray sword in his other hand. Shoot Shadow was shocked. His body turned into a shadow. No matter how much he tried to run, he could not escape Han Sen's inch gray sword. It was like the sword had locked onto him. The inch gray sword was about to strike down on Shoot Shadow's head. Although he was a Break World elite, He probably could not block the sheer sharpness of the inch-gray sword. Busy. As the sound of the sword striking down was heard, a sword light appeared. It was like it pierced through eternity. It came down on the blade of the inch-gray sword. Han Sen froze. He recognized that sword strike. In his dreams, he had fought against this sword many times. This was the sword Big Sky Demon had shown him. She had shown him this many times in his dreams. When Han Sen saw this sword for the first time in reality, he felt afraid. Still, he had the resolve that denied him from falling back. An amazing power exploded. Han Sen used a sword instead of his knife. He slashed out with his sword, going toward the sword light that looked as if it could shred anything and everything. Dong. Han Sen and the inch-gray sword were knocked backward by the sword light. The sword light power did not stop there. It kept trying to suppress the inch-gray sword. Boom. Han Sen's body hit the forest of weapons. He created a trench in the ground that was 10,000 miles long. Many weapon gene races were hit and sent flying everywhere. A giant stone hole was visible at the end of the trench. Han Sen stood in the stone hall with both of his hands holding the inch-gray sword. His body was adorned with the Dongxian armor. His gauntlets started to show signs of cracking. More cracks were appearing closer to his hands. Pieces of armor on his fingers started falling off. The sword light was still in front of the inch-gray sword. A powerful pressure made the inch-gray sword fall back inch by inch. Han Sen's were shaking as he held his sword. He had finally experienced the sword, so he now knew its true power. It was no wonder Big Sky Demon, who was an evil existence, had been heavily damaged by it. The Big Sky Demon had a break world rate of 90%. Han Sen's body was a mess. It was like his organs were breaking. The sword light did not get any weaker either. It was getting stronger. Roar. Han Sen made a roaring noise like a beast. He suddenly slipped into his super god spirit mode. The inch-gray sword in his hands developed a white power. He stumbled back a little and slashed the sword light down. He finally shook away the sword light. Go. Han Sen gnashed his teeth and ran to the ship. He punched and ripped space. He punched a path through Soldier Knife Sky and the universe of kingdoms. He pushed the ship away and stayed with it. Sky King heard Han Sen shout and saw him do that. He did not dare stay either. He raced into the tunnel as well. Do you want to run? It is not that easy. Shoot! Shadow screamed weirdly. He became countless scary shadows. He kept trying to hit Han Sen, Sky King and the ship. Sky King's shadow was stopped. He had to use skills to deal with the shadows. Han Sen was injured. He used all of his strength to break a tunnel. He pushed the ship forward, but did not have any extra power to deal with the shadows. Ding. The sound of music was heard. It was like a wave that aided in shaking the shadows away. A phoenix head harp flew out of the ship. It floated behind Han Sen. The strings moved on their own. It kept producing scary harp sounds. Han Sen forced himself out of the Soldier Knife Sky. He grabbed the phoenix head harp. His body flashed onto the ship. He grabbed Zhao Qiu and used galaxy teleportation to flash away. God Chaos Party was after Han Sen and Zhao Ning'er. If they were not on the ship, the people on the ship would be safer and permitted to live. Han Sen used galaxy teleportation, even though he kept losing blood. Although that was the power of the Blood Pulse Sutra, he could not stop the blood. It was unknown how many systems they teleported away to. When Han Sen could no longer hold on to the damage brought on by the teleportation, he fell out into space. The sword light was like a ghost surrounding him. It broke space and came down. Han Sen could not keep his super god spirit mode on. His body was injured. He had many ideas as the sword light came striking down. The phoenix head harp string moved. The music was so loud that it was like a storm with raging thunder. It created shockwaves against the sword light. The sword light was like a sharp blade slashing at the waves. It ignored the sonic wave power. It slashed down trying to slash the phoenix head harp. Han Sen imagined that slash could kill Zhao Ning'er. She had a break world rate of over 60%, but she could not withstand such power. When she touched the sword light, Han Sen felt the sword light bear a power he was familiar with. It was the Black Crystal Armor's power. The Black Crystal Armor had repeatedly helped Han Sen when he was growing up. Now it had become his greatest issue. It was like a reaper's scythe that killed people. Han Sen knew he would have to overcome this one day. Otherwise, he could not take back the black crystal armor from Qin Xiu. He would not survive if he didn't. The sword light touched the harp, and the harp broke. It was unable to stop the pursuit of that sword light. The sword light was going to land on the harp. Han Sen growled. The inch-gray sword trembled. The cells on his body were shaking and crying. Han Sen had no other choice. He had to take the sword. He had to live. The only way to do that was to fight. Do you want me, Han Sen, to die? That is not done so easily. Han Sen's body was heavily damaged, but a weird power exploded. It was the story of Gene's power. More specifically, it was the story of Gene's power in reverse. The power of the story of Gene's was not suitable for fighting. The increase in battle power was not so strong. The reverse, the story of Gene's, was different. The story of Gene's in reverse had a destructive power. Han Sen only ran it for a second, and he almost blew up and died. How scary was that power? Han Sen now had no choice. He had to try and use the reverse version of the story of Gene's. He needed to see if his body or the sword would blow up first. He wasn't sure if the reverse, the story of Gene's power, could fight the sword light. Han Sen did not know what the result of this action would be, but he had no other choice. Qin Xiu's sword was too strong. It was not just a display of Qin Xiu's strength. He was also wearing the black crystal armor, which went against the sky. As the former owner of the black crystal armor, Han Sen knew how scary the black crystal armor was. Pang! 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 Han Sen's cells exploded. His entire body was like it was exploding. His flesh and bones almost blew up. Han Sen completely ignored his breaking body. He was bleeding. His hands kept bleeding blood. He held the inch-gray sword and slashed at the sword light. Chapter 3285, Getting a Spirit Boom. The sword light was destroyed. After its destruction, a bloody mist appeared in its absence. But that also faded away, as did the presence of Han Sen and the two Zhao sisters. They were all gone. The many scary creatures of the 33 skies were shocked. Qin Xiu's sword was frightening. How could anyone not be afraid of that? Although Han Sen was someone capable of defeating Berry Path God, he could not block Qin Xiu's sword light. And this made Berry Path God and the other God Chaos Party members look ashen. In an old tower, Qin Xiu's eyes looked a little weird as he said, "He broke the sword light. This man is interesting. It looks like the black crystal armor chose to hide inside him for a reason." Suddenly, Qin Xiu looked as if he was in pain. His body started to shake as he tried to handle the pain. He stood where he was for quite some time. He's trying to get control back. It's a shame that the things in my hands cannot be reclaimed and controlled by others. Qin Xiu looked very tough. He let the pain spread, but he never moved. On a small, nameless planet, Zhao Ning'er was looking more than a little pale. Her white clothes were dyed red. "Sister, are you okay?" Zhao Qiuyi scrambled over to get a look at Zhao Ning'er and asked about how she was faring. A worried look was scrawled harshly across her face. "I am fine." Zhao Ning'er shook her head. She turned to look at a shadow that was inside the cave along with them. She was not all that injured. Her wounds were superficial. They paled in comparison to the injuries of the person who was beside her in the cave. Compared to his wounds, her injuries were practically nothing. Zhao Qiuyi peered at Han Sen with profound worry. Her worry was immense due to the state he was in compared to her sister. His condition was very poor. After seeing him, there was nothing short of what one might call scary. Han Sen's arms looked like they had exploded. He had massive wounds everywhere. His body was like an open pomegranate. The only good thing about it was the fact that Han Sen's blood was crystallized. It was frozen inside his veins, refusing to come out. Is he still alive? Zhao Qiuyi looked at his body, unaware of what she should do. Any other person who had been hit like that would have died 1,000,000 times over by now. He didn't look alive. "I think he is still alive." Zhao Ning'er was not so sure. There was not one speck of Han Sen's body that looked fine. Even all of his organs were injured. It was like he had been blown up. No organs were running normally inside his body. But Han Sen's presence had not faded away. Aside from that, he looked like a dead man. A white half-burned candle was burning on Han Sen's head. If Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiui moved closer to Han Sun or the white candle, their minds got messed up. Not even Zhao Ning'er could get close. They did not know what that half-burned candle would do. Zhao Ning'er knew the half-burned candle had flown out of Han Sen's body. Since it was something that belonged to Han Sun, they did not think too much of it. They could not see how scary the candle was. Otherwise, they would not have dared to stand where they were. The half-burned candle was on Han Sen's forehead. The flame was like a ghostly blue fire. It was like countless souls were crying in the fire. In the Qin Kingdom, people only knew this half-burned candle was called Mirror Moon. It was able to revive people. They did not know that the candle required souls to burn. Where Mirror Moon was, if a creature died, their souls would be attracted by the fire. They would not go to the Geno Hall to be reborn. They vanished from the world. Mirror Moon's appearance there was not going to help Han's senator. It had no connection to him. To the candle, Han Sun was just any other creature. He might as well have been a dog or a cat. Mirror Moon would not distinguish the two. It was just for storing food. Mirror Moon flew out on its own because it felt Han Sen's soul leaving his body. That was why it had flown out. It was waiting for the soul to be sucked into the light. The soul had no form or texture. It was lighter than anything in that world. When a spirit left its body, it flew out. It would float into the Geno Hall. The universe did not have a difference between high and low or left and right, but the direction of the Geno Hall was up when it came to spirits. When people had a weak life force, their souls lost power and would start to ascend. Han Sen's life force was very low and had reached that point. He was practically a dead man. Despite that, his soul did not leave his body. Mirror Moon was waiting for Han Sen's soul to leave, but it did not. Mirror Moon was confused by this. Its fire kept waving. It was trying to draw Han Sen's soul out of the lifeless body. Usually, Mirror Moon would not do this. That was because spirits were everywhere in the world. It did not need to do it. It did not need to steal souls from a living creature. In the universe, creatures could die any second. Countless numbers of souls could be used at all times. But Han Sen's soul was very enticing for Mirror Moon. His body was obviously dead, but his soul had yet to rise up. The Mirror Moon candle's flame blazed brighter. It had a weird blue color. It attracted a lot of souls. It was trying to take Han Sen's soul. If Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiui could see souls, they would notice the souls around the planet were going into the candle's fire like the tide of the sea. Many souls were being sucked into the fire to burn. Crying noises were made, the likes of which could make people's teeth chatter. But they did not see anything. They only felt the cold of the cave give them goosebumps. The temperature of the cave, however, was not cold. No matter how much the Mirror Moon candle exploded and spirits from another system came, Han Sen's soul did not move. Mirror Moon was so confused by this. It had lived for 1 billion years, but it had not experienced this before. All creatures or spirits were beings of freedom. When they lost their life force, they would leave their own bodies. Han Sen's body no longer had a life force. Why his body did not ascend was a mystery Mirror Moon was unable to grasp. Mirror Moon was not human. It did not have emotions as humans did. It would not be curious about why that was, but it felt Han Sen's spirit would help it. Because Mirror Moon could not attract Han Sen's soul, it went to Han's senator. It had never taken a soul from a living thing before, but Han Sun did not seem to be alive. So Mirror Moon wanted to try and take his soul. The candle landed atop Han Sen's forehead. It was bloody. His skull was cracked. One could see thick brain juice inside it. After the candle was on it, there was a sizzling sound. It was like skin getting burned by metal. Chapter 3286 Difficulties. The candle looked like a ghostly flame rising up. It covered Han Sen's entire body. The candle could not burn anything solid, but it could burn souls. No matter how strong the body was, it could not really protect someone's soul. Han Sun, however, seemed to be the exception. He had a super god spirit mode. His body and soul could not be separated. That was why his soul had not left his body and ascended. Many people who came from the sanctuaries had super god spirit modes, but the super god spirit mode itself was different. It had many different elements. Like Han Sun, his super god spirit mode was unique. Even Little Flower and Ning'er, who had his genes, both had different kinds of a super god spirit mode. It made their bodies able to become spirits. Mirror Moon needed spirits. It did not need bodies. That fire was useless for the body. It created a problem for it. Hansen's body and spirit were the same, but Mirror Moon only burned spirits. When the fire wrapped up Hansen's body, it had reacted to the candle, although it should not have. Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiuli watched Hansen's body become wreathed in fire. They did not know what to do about the curious thing. They had no clue if Mirror Moon was being cruel or nice to Han Senator. It was a mystery to them. Therefore, it was difficult for them to decide what to do about it. Zhao Qiuli looked at Zhao Ning'er. With a face full of concern, she asked, "Is Hansen going to be okay like that?" "That half-burned candle came out from Hansen," Zhao Ning'er said. "It is an item he owns. I do not think it will harm him. Besides, he is dying. Let's just see if he can be fixed by this thing or not." The two of them were frozen as they watched the candle set fire to Hansen's severely injured body. The muscles and fat beyond the wounds were being ravaged by the flames of the candle. They were on fire. Hansen's broken and out-of-shape body was hastily burning. "Sister, is this really okay?" Zhao Qiuli looked at Hansen's burning body with a feeling of grand uncertainty. "Having a reaction is better than him being simply dead," Zhao Ning'er said. His body continued to burn. The bones and flesh did not burn very fast. Flesh kept smoldering, releasing a lot of smoke. That was the dirt Mirror Moon was unable to absorb. Hansen's body was not reacting to this. After it was set aflame by the peculiar candle, it started to protect itself. A white color started to spread. It tore through the suppression rules of the universe. Hansen turned into a super god spirit. The power of the super god spirit, combined with the fire of the Mirror Moon candle, did not disable the fire. That was because the body was a spirit now, and it made the ravaging flames worse. That was not exactly a bad thing. In super god spirit mode, Hansen's will returned. Now that Hansen could see his shape, he was in shock. The way in which his body had been broken was totally obscene. If he was a normal person, he should have died a few hundred times from the wounds he had incurred. Even a human like him, with a body that had almost reached the highest point of evolution, would never wake up unless they had a super god spirit mode. Only in super god spirit mode was he able to just about live. That was thanks to the Mirror Moon activating his super god spirit mode. Had it not done that for him, Hansen would have been a dead man. Mirror Moon had given Hansen another chance to live. It also brought Hansen another big crisis to overcome. The scary fire kept burning Hansen's soul. Even his super god spirit mode could not fight things. What is Mirror Moon? Even my super god spirit mode can burn. Hansen was shocked. He knew this was not the time he should spend being curious. He had to find a way to sort out the trouble he was in. Hansen was happy that under the influence of his super god spirit mode, his Geno arts could still be used. He quickly used another Geno art to douse the flames. It was a pointless effort though. The fire seemed to be latching onto the super god spirit mode. No other type of power could affect the fire. He could only use the super god spirit mode to fight back. What is this thing? Hansen had a grand headache. Come on. It would be fine if super god spirit mode could restrict the fire, but the super god spirit mode was restricted by the fire. If this kept going, Hansen would burn away into dust. He would not even have a chance to reincarnate. Hansen was wreathed by the fire. He kept feeling the pain that was deep in his nerves. He tried every way possible, but nothing would work. The super god spirit mode was becoming weaker and weaker. What do I do? Hansen's heart cycled through many different ideas, but none of them worked. Big Sky Demon. Where are you? Hansen tried to call out for Big Sky Demon. Perhaps the old monster, Big Sky Demon, who had lived for countless years, would know how to deal with Mirror Moon. Big Sky Demon did not respond to him. Hansen did not know Big Sky Demon was still badly wounded. She was living in Hansen's dreams. Unless Hansen went into his dreams, he would be unable to see Big Sky Demon. Hansen's spirit was being burned. It was so painful that it could not be described. Every second was like a century. Hansen could not endure the pain. He was unable to see a way out of this, and that was driving him insane. Am I going to die here? Han Sen thought of Ji and ran. He thought of his son Little Flower and his daughter Ning'er. He even thought of his mother Luolan and his dad Han Yufei. He had many things left unfinished. No matter how much he did not want to die, he did not have the power to reverse his situation. To Qin Xiu, Han Sen was just an accident. He was just a guy who could not control the black crystal power, and let the black crystal armor let him handle things. Aside from that, Han Sen was nothing to Qin Xiu. The humans from the sanctuaries were not created by Qin Xiu. They were products of World King God, who had Qin Xiu's body and the crystallizers. In the sanctuaries, humans were not pure. He never even cared for the Qin Kingdom's pure humans, who had Qin Xiu's blood. Han Sen was just the product of an accident. He kept on fighting to survive. He tried everything he could to survive. What do I do? What else can help me? Han Sen brought out every item. Every item was the same. They did not work. Even the demon god sword's power did nothing to stop the fire. Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiu watched Han Sen throw all of his things out, but none of the items were burned by the fires. Only Han Sen's body was burning. It was very weird. It was a shame they still did not know what was going on. Zhao Ning'er noticed something was wrong, so she asked, Han Sen, do you need my help? Chapter 3287 Ultimate Reverse. Use your power to help me put out the flames that wreathe me or break the half-burned candle. Han Sen said to Zhao Ning'er. Zhao Ning'er immediately turned into a phoenix head harp. She plucked her strings and made the asking heart sounds go to the half-burned candle, but the powerful harp sounds went through the candle and assaulting fire. Mirror Moon was not impacted in the least. Han Sen, who was already very weak, was affected by the harp sounds. Don't move. Han Sen immediately shouted. After this hit, he knew Zhao Ning'er's asking heart sounds were useless against the candles. If this carried on, she would hurt him. Han Sen pulled out his sky god crown. He used his god of wealth identity to go to the god of wealth temple. Han Sen was instantly sent back. He took off the sky god crown. The fire almost incinerated the god of wealth temple. If Han Sen had not left there quickly, the entire temple would have been burned to the ground. Han Sen kept cycling through his inventory. They were all useless. Han Sen threw them all on the ground. There was one thing Han Sen pulled out that made him stop all motion. Han Sen pulled out a weird gene egg. The gene egg was half white and half black. There was a white dot inside the black part and a black dot inside the white part. It was the ultimate egg Han Sen had recently come into possession of. Han Sen had brought out many items. Even the inch gray sword did nothing to damage the fire. When that ultimate egg touched the fire, there was a change. Han Sen clearly felt that the ultimate egg had something that resembled a heartbeat. The black and white Tai Chi symbol on it was spinning. Han Sen was like a drowning person gripping onto the life-saving rope as best as he could. He did not move. He just held the gene egg, and hoped that ultimate egg would save him and allow him to live. The ultimate egg reacted, but it was unable to help Han Sen out of the situation he was in. The Tai Chi symbol spun slowly. It did not fight or absorb the fire. Han Sen put his power inside the ultimate egg. The ultimate egg still felt useless. Even the Super God Spirit mode could not prompt a reaction from it. Plus, Han Sen was really weak. As a result, his Super God Spirit mode was much weaker. If this continues, death is the only way forward. Let's see what happens, shall we? Han Sen swallowed the ultimate egg. It went into his belly. Han Sen did not have much hope, but he did not want to lie down there and do nothing. To stay there and burn to death was pointless. When the ultimate egg entered his body, it displayed a magical power. It went all over Han Sen's body. The ultimate egg was in the center of his body. His Super God Spirit mode was flipped by the ultimate egg. It went from white to gold like a rising sun. That gold power was something Han Sen was very familiar with. The blonde Qinwaner had shown this off many times. This power went against Han Sen's Super God Spirit mode to produce a reverse Super God Spirit mode. Han Sen's body power was reversed by the ultimate egg. It became a reverse Super God Spirit mode. The white Super God Spirit mode was replaced by gold, and it was becoming brighter. Previously, the Super God Spirit mode was restricted by the universe. Now it had just become a reverse super god spirit mode. There were no more restrictions to inhibit him. Hansen's body felt a whole lot more relaxed. Can the ultimate egg reverse super god spirit mode? Hansen was shocked and happy. Hansen now understood why some people had bad luck after getting the ultimate egg. Ordinary people's bodies could not accept the reverse power that was suppressed by the universe. Even if they did not swallow the ultimate egg as Hansen did, carrying it around would affect them. To get restricted by the universe led to unfortunate things, which was fairly normal to see. Although the ultimate egg was not that simple, seeing how it could reverse a power, one could understand how cursed of an item it was. Who was the Wu Wei Dao Alpha? Was he really born with this ultimate egg? Hansen was shocked as he wondered about that mystery. The reverse super god spirit mode was different from the ordinary super god spirit mode. Each of them was the opposite of the other. The super god spirit mode was a soft power. When Hansen's body became a spirit, it gave his body an invincible power. He was not hurt by any type of power. In the universe, not many powers could hurt him. Not many powers could hurt him in his super god spirit mode form. Destroying the super god spirit mode was an even harder task. The reverse super god spirit mode was different. Hansen felt that the reverse super god spirit mode possessed some type of suction force. It pulled Hansen's body into a vortex. Initially, he was wreathed in the fires of the mirror moon candle. Now he had been sucked into the reverse super god spirit mode. Even the half-burned candle was sucked in. Mirror moon was sucked into Hansen's brain, where it still burned. Hansen's body was filled with fire. Before, Hansen was like a burning fireman. Now he was a human glass bottle that had a fire burning within. It made Hansen feel even worse. The reverse super god spirit mode consumed Mirror Moon and its fire, but it could not melt it. It was melting in the fire, and it was melting fast. Even though the super god spirit mode has become a reverse super god spirit mode, the mass has not changed. I still cannot fight the Mirror Moon fire. Hansen was disappointed. The reverse super god spirit mode was still unable to save his life. While Hansen wallowed in that disappointment, the ultimate egg exhibited more changes. The reverse super god spirit mode was turning into a super god spirit mode. Hansen's gold super god spirit mode became white again. The difference was that Mirror Moon was burning inside him. Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiuli looked at Hansen with shock. They did not know what was going on. They had watched Hansen become gold, and then become white. Hansen felt as if he was being played by the ultimate egg. The guy before them was able to keep reversing his power. It was like yin and yang. To him, it was something that was easy to toy with. Hansen sometimes had the reverse super god spirit mode. Other times he had the main super god spirit mode. They kept changing. It was like they were playing Wheel of Fortune. Hansen was in a terrible state. He was heavily injured, and his powers were weak. He had been burned by the fire for an extremely long time now. He was going to die. He had been played by the ultimate egg, and it was taking Hansen's life too. His resistance against the damage was failing. The existence of the ultimate egg did not help Hansen, it actually put him in more danger. Within that danger, Hansen gleamed a faint strand of hope. If the super god spirit mode can break the world, maybe I will have the chance of living. The ultimate egg had disturbed Hansen's power. It made him lose his power. At the same time, Hansen felt the reverse super god spirit mode, and understood how he might reverse things. For him, this was a chance. Chapter 3288 Breaking the World failed. Hansen knew he did not have much time left. If his power was consumed too much, even if he had a way to break the world with his super god spirit mode, he would not have the power needed to break the world. He needed to let his super god spirit mode break the world, but his power was too far depleted. The ultimate egg was still reversing Hansen's power. It made him keep switching between the super god spirit mode and reverse super god spirit mode. When he was in reverse super god spirit mode, Hansen felt its amazingness. The super god spirit mode's power was invincible. The reverse super god spirit mode could consume everything. It felt like the reverse super god spirit mode had more of a destructive power, But it was just that the powers were different. Originally, Han Sen had greatly desired the reverse super god spirit mode. The ultimate egg's features enabled Han Sen the chance to claim the reverse super god spirit mode. Even if he was a stupid person, Han Sen could still learn some things about the reverse super god spirit mode. Han Sen, however, was not stupid. Every time the ultimate egg switched Han Sen's body from the super god spirit mode to reverse super god spirit mode, he understood something more. He understood the reverse super god spirit mode more and more. He was pretty sure he was able to reverse the super god spirit mode. But to break the world with it would be a trial and a half. The difficulties stemmed from the presence of the ultimate egg. Breaking the world required a balance of the main and reverse powers. There had to be equilibrium, but the ultimate egg kept changing the element of Han Sen's body. In a situation such as this, Han Sen was unable to find the balance between the main and reverse powers. Han Sen had zero confidence, but he knew he could not wait any longer. His super god spirit mode was weak. If this kept going on, even if he did manage to break the world, he could not do anything to combat Mirror Moon. Live or die, this is the moment everything hinges on. Han Sen gnashed his teeth. When the ultimate egg turned his body into super god spirit mode, he forced a part of his power into the super god spirit mode's power. It began the process of combining the main and reverse powers. Because he already had experience with both powers, they combined very well. The two powers were like water and fire combining. The process for them to combine was smoother than Han Sen expected it to be. Actually, it was not just because of him using the ultimate egg. An important reason for all of this was that Han Sen had been raising water for many years. Their powers extinguished each other. They restricted each other. That made the super god spirit mode get used to the reverse super god spirit mode's power. At this time, it could be said that the two powers had the basic fundaments of each other, and the ability to mesh well with one another. This time, it was about feeling and learning. Otherwise, they would not combine smoothly. It was a surprisingly smooth process for them to combine, but it did not make Han Sen relax. What came next would present him the real crisis. It only took Ultimate Egg a few minutes to suddenly reverse Han Sen's power. It made Han Sen's power completely reverse. That was the worst thing that could happen. Initially, Han Sen was forced to generate his Super God Spirit Mode's power to combine with the reverse Super God Spirit Model's power. The Ultimate Egg reversed the power, so the reverse Super God Spirit Mode's power became the Super God Spirit Mode's power. It forced Han Sen to cast the Super God Spirit Mode's powers, both the main and reverse versions, and make them combine again. They became two main powers combining, which made the process of breaking the world fail. Do it again. Han Sen did not become depressed or angry because of the failure. This time, Han Sen was forced to cast the reverse Super God Spirit Mode's power. He combined with the Super God Spirit Mode's power. The process was just as smooth. After a few minutes, when the Ultimate Egg flipped his powers again, Han Sen had the time of reversal calculated. At that moment, he was able to force his powers to go from the reverse Super God Spirit Mode to the Super God Spirit Mode. Fortunately, Han Sen's Super God Spirit Mode was not showing any blood. If there was, he would have spilled another 3 liters of blood. As he forced his powers to become Super God Spirit Mode, the Ultimate Egg's reversal of the powers was slowed down considerably. It made Han Sen's combination of the powers fail once more. Han Sen kept on trying, but he also kept failing. The Ultimate Egg seemed to have a mind of its own. It was like it was playing hide and seek with Han Senator. He timed the reversal powers a few times, but every time the Ultimate Egg made the switch, it would either go faster or slower. Han Sen was unable to succeed. Han Sen's body was becoming dimmer and dimmer. He was becoming darker than ever. He knew he was running out of time. In another 10 minutes, his body would be unable to support him in breaking the world. Aside from keeping on trying, Han Sen had no other choice. As long as he was not dead, Han Sen did not want to give up on living. The Ultimate Egg was like a naughty child. At least, it was like a very experienced guerrilla soldier. When the enemy approached, they fell back. When the enemy fell back, they chased. Whatever the case, it would not allow Han Sen to find the chance of combining. Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiui watched Han Sen's white light and gold light keep swapping. They did not know what Han Sen was doing, but they did notice that the lights on his body were starting to grow dimmer. He looked like he was there but not there. Han Sen's situation had to be a dire one. Zhao Ning'er frowned as she pondered all of this. She cursed her inability to help Han Senator Zhao Qiuyi, on the other hand, was straight up depressed. After trying again, the ultimate egg missed the time to swap its power. Han Sen had a feeling he wanted to scold it, but he did not have the time to scold it. Han Sen's weaker feelings were becoming stronger. The Super God Spirit mode looked like it was there, but it was not there. It seemed as if it was going to sputter out and disappear. Fuck you. If you want to play, I will play with you back. Han Sen was furious. He cast his power again. This time, Han Sen did not cast the Super God Spirit mode, or the Reverse Super God Spirit mode. He was casting the Reverse the Story of Genes, which had almost killed him before. Boom. After he cast the Reverse the Story of Genes, Han Sen's Super God Spirit mode broke. He was like a human nuke. There was a scary explosion. If you want to suck, then you can suck. If you want to play, then you can play. Han Sen knew he could no longer survive by doing things normally. He used the Reverse the Story of Genes to blow up his spirit body. He wanted to see if the ultimate egg or mirror moon could be blown up, so that he could live. Mirror moon absorbed Han Sen's spirit body power. Now Han Sen had blown up his spirit body, and mirror moon had absorbed the part that exploded. Mirror moon was a giant warehouse for spirit bodies. It burned spirits to gain power. After all of these days and nights, it was unknown how many spirits it had managed to collect. Other people's candles were burning shorter, but mirror moon was burning longer. The candle was a pure spirit power after it consumed souls. Han Sen's spirit body power became a part of the candle. After blowing up, it was like he was lighting up an arsenal. Mirror moon exploded. Chapter 3289 Big Explosion. Zhao Qiuyi and Zhao Ning'er watched Han Sen explode with light. The light expelled was so bright that they could not even open their eyes. There was just bright light. Nothing else could be seen. After the light dimmed, Han Sen's body vanished. All that was left in the cave were the items Han Sen had thrown around. Han Sen, where are you? Zhao Qiuyi was in a panic as she called out Han Sen's name. Zhao Ning'er sighed. It looks like Han Sen could not make it through. He was so strong, but not even he was able to fight the God Chaos Party. If that is the case, who in this world can hope to stand against the God Chaos Party? Although Zhao Qiuyi did not believe Han Sen had died just like that, the facts were in front of her. She had no choice but to believe and accept it. Before, Han Sen's body had looked like it was there, but it was not there. It seemed as if it was ready to vanish any second. The last explosion must have used all of his energy. There could not have been anything else left. Let's collect his things. I heard he has a daughter in the Qin Kingdom. I can only suppose we should return his things to his family. Zhao Ning'er started to collect his things. Zhao Qiuyi was very upset. She looked depressed, but she still had to pick up all the items alongside Zhao Ning'er. Hey, you guys stop acting. Can't you guys see me? Han Sen stood in front of the pair, talking to them both in shock. Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiuyi were unable to see Han Senator. They were unable to hear him too. They could not feel his existence. Han Sen did not believe it, so he tried to grab Zhao Ning'er, who was currently picking up his things. His hands went right through her body. Han Sen's eyes opened wide. He watched his body go right through Zhao Ning'er's body. He was like a ghost that could not touch anything. Does that mean? Am I dead? Han Sen looked at his hands and body in shock. From what he could tell, everything seemed normal. Aside from him being in a spirit mode, there was nothing else special about his circumstance. He could not accept the fact he was dead. Han Sen had only just used the reverse version of the story of genes. He wanted to expel the ultimate egg and mirror moon from his body. By doing so, he triggered the mirror moon's explosion. It made mirror moon explode with the spirit power. It filled up Han Sen's body. He believed he was going to die. His body was almost collapsing. Even when he used Super God Spirit mode, he was still unable to hold the scary spirit explosion at bay. Upon his body get destroyed in a big explosion, The ultimate egg's power displayed something rather miraculous. At first, the ultimate egg just kept reversing Hansen's body power. Finally, the ultimate egg lured out Mirror Moon's spirit power to reverse it too. At that moment, the exploding scary spirit power turned into another weird power. Mirror Moon's power had a soul element that burned everything. When that power was flipped, it created a reverse Mirror Moon power. It became the soul's food. Hansen's spirit body, which was going to collapse, had an explosive spirit power to fill him up. Because of that, he recovered his power. Still, the scary spirit powers kept changing him. Mirror Moon had too many spirit powers. It was hard to imagine the powers with one explosion. Hansen could not hold against the spirit power. After he had too much spirit power, his body was unable to control a thing. He had changed. Because the spirit power exploded so fast, and the whole changing progress was done in a second, Hansen could not figure out what had happened inside his body. When that was all over, Hansen noticed his body had completely recovered. He was also still in his spirit body mode. The spirit body mode was not like the super god spirit mode, or the reverse super god spirit mode. His body did not have the white spirit light. There was no god spirit light at all. Hansen felt like his body was just like he had not entered the spirit mode. Everything was very natural. In the beginning, Hansen had not noticed that he was in a spirit body mode. When Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiui were not able to see him, they were also unable to feel his presence. It made Hansen realize there was some kind of problem. No, I shouldn't be dead. I have seen dead people's spirits. They have transparent soul bodies with no will. They can't behave like a living thing. They cannot have their own will. Hansen looked into the sky and was given a fright. In the past, he only used Mirror Moon's power to see spirits flying to the revealed presence of the Geno Hall. Now, Hansen could see the spirits of the universe flying. He could see the floating emptiness had a Geno Hall that looked like a god building. Hansen started to look weird. There were only two reasons why he might be seeing this. One was that when Mirror Moon exploded, the power had filled up his body with its residue to gift him the powers of Mirror Moon. The second possibility was that he really was dead, which was why he was now able to see everything. Hansen tried to grab the items that belonged to him, but the results were the same as before. He was unable to touch a thing. In spirit body mode, he was unable to use Geno arts. It was not like before. He could not back out of his spirit body mode. Am I really dead? Hansen was frozen as he looked at his hands. He could not accept the fact he was already a dead man. Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiui packed up all the items and were ready to leave. Hansen hastily followed them. The Zhao family sisters were still unable to see or hear Hansen, even though he was able to see them and hear them. If they are going to the Qin kingdom, I will follow them. Even if they cannot see me, Bauer will be able to see me. Hansen comforted himself. Although he was unable to use a Geno art and his spirit body's power could not alter items around him, as a spirit body, he was able to move quite fast. Hansen was worried about not being able to catch up with Zhao Ning'er. He soon realized his worrying had been pointless. Within a second, Hansen was next to Zhao Ning'er. He was faster now than he was in his ordinary speed. After trying this a few times, Hansen noticed that if his heart jumped, his spirit body could reach anywhere. I see, Hansen's heart jumped. He suddenly appeared inside Jade Wall City's Feng family castle. He was much faster getting there than he would have been by using galaxy teleportation. Now this is the real style of travel to reach places. Hansen was surprised. After that, Hansen started feeling bad again. It was pointless being able to go that fast. He was still just a spirit that could not touch anything. So what if he was invincible to the world? Chapter 3290 Geno Hall. Feng Feifei and Feng Yinin were with Bauer. They did not tell Bauer about Hansen being missing. They were worried about Bauer getting upset. Seeing Bauer merrily eat, drink, and watch her favorite comedies, she looked very happy. Feng Feifei sighed and thought, if something happened to Hansen, I really don't know how I will explain it to Bauer. Dad. Bauer was watching her comedy show when she suddenly threw away her snacks and jumped. She jumped into the air as if Hansen was there. Feng Feifei and Feng Yining did not see anything. Bauer latched onto nothing and fell to the ground. Bauer, are you okay? Feng Feifei ran to pick Bauer up. She looked hurt. I am fine. Bauer's mouth was talking to Feng Feifei, but her eyes were looking to where she had jumped. She asked, Dad, could you please tell me what you are doing right now? Han-sun was very happy. Although Bauer was unable to touch his body, she could see him just fine. Someone was at least able to notice his presence. That feeling was better than winning the lottery. I am fine. I don't know why my body has become like this. Aside from you, no one can see me. There is nothing that can touch me. Han-sun explained his situation to Bauer. That is very strange. Why would you even be in such a condition? Why are things like that for you? Bauer curiously reached out her little hand to grab Han-sun's body. Just like Han-sun thought, her little hands went right through him. Bauer, again. I feel compelled to repeat the same question and ask if you are okay. Feng Feifei looked at Bauer with profound worry. Bauer looked as if she was possessed and was talking to some spirit or ghost. Bauer turned to talk to Feng Feifei and Feng Yining. I am talking to Dad. Do you guys not see him? The sisters looked at each other. They then shook their heads. They looked at Bauer strangely. Bauer was talking to Han-sun, and she kept jumping around trying to touch Han-senator. Nothing she tried seemed to work. She could only see him and not touch him. In Feng Feifei's and her sister's eyes, Bauer's movements made them hurt more. They thought Bauer must have missed Han-sun so much that she had started to hallucinate his presence. Han-sun was feeling better. Although Bauer could not touch him, at least there was someone who knew he still existed. He was not like a real ghost. Bauer, I will be leaving for a while, Han-sun said to Bauer. You stay in the Feng family castle for now. By the way, around this time, Zhao Ning'er and Zhao Qiuyi will be coming here. Please help take care of the stuff they bring you. As for the inch-gray sword, you must not draw it. That is a break-world gene. You must keep it safe and secured. Dad, where are you going? Bauer asked as she blinked her eyes. I need to find a way to fix my body. Han-sun looked at the Geno Hall. If someone was able to help him, it had to be God Hall leader in the Geno Hall or Night God No Moon. God spirits were spirits, and God Hall leader was the leader of all the God spirits. As for spirit bodies, he likely knew a lot about them. Perhaps he would be able to explain what was happening to Han Senator. Night God No Moon had used the Mirror Moon once before. She had to know more about Mirror Moon. That would help Han-sun understand his situation. What happened to Han-sun's body had to be related to Mirror Moon in some capacity. Han-sun had no idea where Night God No Moon was, so he decided to go to the Geno Hall first and try his luck. He hoped he could find something and learn more about what was going on. He told Bauer to stay in the Feng family castle. His heart fluttered as he went to the Geno Hall in space. The Geno Hall was in space, but it was not in any defined point in space. No matter where or how one traveled through space, one would never be able to touch the Geno Hall. After a brief second of thought, Han-sun had already arrived before the doors to the Geno Hall. Han-sun was no stranger to the elusive Geno Hall. In the Geno universe, he had seen the hall many times. Now he had another opinion of it. In the past, Han-sun thought the Geno Hall was just a hall built atop a pyramid of god temples. Things were now different. The temple had not shown up, and there was a vortex that was similar to a black hole below the temple. His spirit body flew around the universe. It entered the vortex and disappeared. The entire Geno Hall was like a giant beast. It kept consuming souls as if it was a sea. As he stood in front of the Geno Hall and saw that the souls beneath his feet looked rather like seawater, he thought it was like a vortex. That feeling could not be described. Han-sun had a weird thought. The humans of the sanctuaries can accept beast souls. That might be a way to accept souls. That was the direction Qin Xiu and World King God's research went in. I am now a pure spirit body. Does that mean I am like a beast soul or a god spirit now? After thinking about it a bit more, he felt a little bit confused. The spirits that enter Geno Halls. How can they be between two universes? Is the Geno Hall really like a middle ground between both? Are there some more secrets about the Geno Hall that I have yet to learn? As Han-sun pondered all of that, he heard a catcha sound. The Geno Hall's doors opened. A bright god light seeped out of the widening gap. Han Sun had seen this god light many times, but he had always been too weak to see through the light. As Han Sun stood before the door, he was no longer affected by the light. The door was slowly opening, enabling him to peer through the light that was coming out. He saw what was beyond the door. When the door opened, the spirits that wandered around looked as if they had just been summoned. They stopped being confused. They madly tried to escape the vortex. They scrambled in a bid to reach the door of the Geno Hall. The weak spirits were unable to escape the attraction of the vortex. After they struggled a little, they were sucked into it. The powerful spirits were able to escape the suction of the vortex. They managed to come before the Geno Hall, wanting to reach the door. When their spirit body entered the light, it was like ice meeting charcoal. The bodies of the spirits vaporized. Even so, the powerful spirits were still going toward the Geno Hall's doors. No spirit was able to enter. The god light vaporized each one into nothing. In just a moment, tens of thousands of spirits were vaporized. Their appearance made Han Sun frown. The Geno Hall's job is to keep the universe in balance. Isn't that to let spirits reincarnate? Why would they kill spirits? Han Sun seemed to doubt what he used to think. You finally came. A woman's voice emerged from the god light shining out from beyond the doors. Chapter 3291. Goddess. This was a voice Han Sun was no stranger to. In the past, ancient god's water god attacked the Geno Hall. The master of this voice suppressed the assault. When Golden Growler attacked the Geno Hall, the master of that voice appeared there as well. Han Sun peered through the god light. He saw a woman standing there. Under the 10,000 race lamps, it made her look very holy and pure. It was like the entire world should obey that figure. Han Sun looked at the goddess and asked, "Are you talking to me?" The goddess smiled. "Aside from you and the Geno Hall, are there any other creatures around? I do not think I am familiar with you." Han Sun looked at the goddess and asked, "Why are you waiting for me?" "You know I am an unclean goddess," the goddess coldly said. "How could you not know who I am?" Han Sun was shocked. "I am afraid there might have been a misunderstanding. I have never seen you before. How am I supposed to know whether or not you're pure? If there is no light, there is no darkness. Light and dark are two sides of the same coin. Light god is not holy. Did you not say something like that before?" The goddess looked as if she was smiling, but she wasn't smiling. "Are you light goddess?" Han Sun now knew the identity of the goddess. He developed a wry smile. It was always awkward for a person to find out someone was talking about them behind their back and confront them. "According to what you have just said, you can call me Dark Goddess," Light Goddess emotionlessly said. "Light and dark is a necessary component of the universe. I cannot deny that." Han Sun felt as if he was not very good at explaining things. He coughed and changed the subject. "I want to see the leader of this hall. Is he in today?" After that, Han Sun tried peeking into the hall. Aside from the 10,000 race lanterns, there was nothing else to see. He did not know if God Hall leader was in there or not. "He is not in," Light Goddess said. "For this year in the universe, I am the one tasked with protecting the Geno Hall. If you want to see him, I recommend that you come back another time." Han Sun thought Light Goddess was a trustworthy person. If God Hall leader knew he was there, he would have come. Otherwise, unless the God Hall leader did not want to see him, he would have been the one to go there. If God Hall leader really did not want to see him, it was pointless even if he insisted. "If God Hall leader is not here, might it be possible for me to ask for your help?" Han Sun had to take a step back. "Your body has already become a spirit. You are like an empty spirit. Aside from reincarnating, you cannot become human again. If you want, I can send you through the Geno Hall to reincarnate." Light Goddess clearly understood why Han Sun had come to see her. So she was honest with him. "If I reincarnate, can I still keep the memories of my past life?" Han Sun asked. "That is impossible," Light Goddess replied with certainty. If Han Sun could not keep his memories, he did not want to reincarnate. To be reborn with an empty soul was not far off from dying. "Is there any other way?" Han Sun quietly asked. "Yes. That surprised Han Senator Light Goddess's answer was spoken with strong confidence. If you are saying there is another way, then why did you just tell me there was no other way a moment ago? Han Sen thought, but he did not actually say it out loud. After all, Han Sen needed her help. He couldn't offend her. Light Goddess seemed to know what Han Sen was thinking. She coldly said, I said there was no other way aside from reincarnating if you wanted to be a human again. When I tell you there is another way, there is another way. It just means you won't be a human. Not be human? Do you want me to be a god spirit? Han Sen's heart jumped. Light Goddess nodded and said, yeah, you have a pure spirit body. Aside from reincarnating, you cannot be a human again. You can, however, become a god spirit. What is the difference between a god spirit and my current shape? Han Sen frowned. Of course there is a difference, Light Goddess said. Right now, aside from your situation that involves your past memories, you are like an empty spirit. Before you reincarnate, you will not have a connection to this world. You cannot touch anything that exists here, and no one can hear or see you. According to the theory, you are still alive, but your current status is not all that different from you being dead. If you want to become a god spirit, you can make a god base. With a god base, you can make a god body again. If you do that, you will become someone like me. This might be a silly thing to ask, but if I become a god spirit, what level of god spirit will I become? Han Sen squinted his eyes as he peered at Light Goddess. Light Goddess did not hesitate to answer. You are the master of the God of Wealth Temple. You can use the God of Wealth Temple to become a god. You will be the 13th Annihilation class main god. After I become a god spirit, what will I need to do? Han Sen did not want to become a god spirit. He was just a common man. He wanted the life of a commoner. He did not want to sit in a god temple all day. You must protect the Geno Hall and keep the universe in order, Light Goddess answered. If I become a real god spirit, can I choose not to do that? Han Sen asked. Yeah. Light Goddess's answer made Han Sen a happy chap, but Light Goddess added, but Annihilation main gods are different than the average god spirit. If the Geno Hall is destroyed, your god bases will be destroyed. If you do not mind that happening, then you will not have to do anything. Han Sen suddenly thought about the sky god crown he already had. He thought about how becoming the master of the God of Wealth Temple was one grand setup for this. He looked at Light Goddess, turned around and ran. If he was to become a god spirit, he could live. That solution was not any better than his current condition. Light Goddess saw Han Sen leave in a hurry. She was shocked by this sudden change, but she did not want to stop him from escaping. In a short amount of time, he was gone. The Geno Hall's doors closed. The spirits going there like mad returned to normal. Light Goddess walked to an altar. She placed a right on her chest and bowed before the leader of the Geno Hall. Mister, it is just as you said. Han Sen did choose to leave. If you were so sure about this, do you think he is going to do that? No matter how small the chance is a chance, God Hall leader said with a smile. It is better than no chance. Spirits have existed here for 10 million years, but no one has been this shocking before. If he can fight against Qin Xiu, you have to know that Qin Xiu is... Light Goddess had to stop talking. She sounded as if she had just misspoken. She lowered her head and apologized. His spirit is normal, God Hall leader coldly said. It was always normal. But in this life, he has a chance to not be normal. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.